Yeah, okay, I'll get some thumbs up finally. All right, that's useful. One-way headphones, and they're all done. That's good. Okay, after all that mucking around, let's just start. Apologies if the quality is no good. Um, this is literally me talking into my phone, so fingers crossed. I'm going to open it up to you all straight away tonight. I don't really want to waffle on too much. It was going to be a little spaces about greed, and obviously what's promoted. Well, actually, I'd already thought to do it today because I'd had a thought staring at the sun this afternoon, lovely blue sky, freezing cold, and I was thinking to myself, you know what? I've been kind of making this journey, this XRP journey, of wanting it more and more to be a more spiritual connection. I'm learning more about myself, learning more about the world, and I want it to be more spiritual, and I want to understand that side of life because some quite extraordinary things have happened to me since the waking up process and my understanding of the world. This world is like a simulacrum, like a matrix. It is definitely not what they told me in school, and I can attest to that just through things that have happened. Um, but I wanted to think about this whole XRP narrative that's going on and the element of greed. Now, please, if anybody wants to step in and chat at any point, please do. But it dawned on me today that this XRP to 589 or 1000, it evokes a certain emotion in a person, especially if you're somebody who likes a little bit of decoding or you get into that. It's just a bit of a fun hobby, and I'm sure there are some very keen people who think, yeah, when moon, next week, next Tuesday at 12 p.m. And I've been there, I've been there in the early days, and I get it, and I'm not going to criticize anybody for that. But I was thinking about greed, and then of course only one got his post shared, which really did highlight greed personified. Trying to claim he knows information, so please send me some money, etc., etc. It's all just a bit underhand and very egotistical, and that's not what I've been looking for in my journey. It's certainly not what I've been finding. I think the XRP movement is a one of a kind, and I don't doubt for 1 minute that XRP is going to be worth a small fortune one day. There's enough predictive programming. There's on TV, film, etc., etc. There's enough actual research you can do of how the world is run, how the ripple is moving in the right circles. There's enough glitches. There's enough riddles. If it's kind of inevitable, I think. But it's just a case of when, but it could be years and years and years till XRP. It could actually be years until XRP gets to a price anywhere near there. It could be because we don't truly know. All we know, and I'm going to highlight the main protagonist in all of this is obviously when I first came onto the scene. I just had the normal research, and then suddenly I was seeing 589 and $1,000, next week or now tweets, thinking, "Holy hell, is this real?" And as you start to believe, your ego inflates with it, and your belief inflates with it. But then, aside from that, your greed, because you want it to be real, you want it to so be real, and then I think, having reflected today on that, I actually think greed takes over, and then it's the battle for you then to get back to reality, to what really counts, and that's life. If you have a family, it's them. If you have, if you have a job where you probably have aspirations not to be in that job, and I dare say that's 95% of people, because you want your life to change. You want to take a different direction. You perhaps even want to just have passive income. And that is a whole mindset shift. But I think we have to get past the greed first, because if this awakening, if this once in a lifetime opportunity really is on the doorstep, or on our doorstep, then combating greed and selfishness, because surely that's the ultimate goal, right? What are we going to do when this is all over? And I know there's some people in the community that, they do just want to have a lavish lifestyle, and they see nothing different, and that's fine. I can't criticize anybody for wanting that, but I think the awakening of our souls, and to give us some sort of purpose, to make us feel like there is some sort of purpose to all of this. Maybe that's delusional. Maybe that is completely an illusion, and in actual fact, we're in just a cutthroat world where no one really gives a damn, and they just want for themselves. But I want it to be more. I feel like spiritually it is more. There is something more to all of this, and I think by this constant programming, and it is programming by by the certain individual of $1,000 and $589, which are in the riddles, we become, although it helps us believe, which is never a problem when you want to believe in a certain asset, and perhaps a lot of people here are new to assets, in our schooling system across the world, we're not taught to buy them or understand them. So this is quite a new experience for a lot of people. And if it goes the way we think it's going to go, then our lives are going to be changed. But it's how we cope with that, the mindset of it. Do we take the stance that some are, just being very cutthroat right down the line and forget everything? It's just about the money, or do we need to check ourselves and think, it actually is more than that, and this whole desire for $1,000 XRP is an IQ test, testing our values and testing our will. But at what consequence? Do we have to sacrifice anything for all this thinking that we're doing, for all this constant? And that's not constant for me these days, but I've had periods of time where it consumes you, literally consumes you. So yeah, this is what I want to bring to the floor. How do you feel about this journey that we're on? Are you able to relate to what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Do we need to check ourselves, or is it literally a case of preparing ourselves, and we need that little harsh reality of, oh no, actually you are going to be stinking rich, and what are you going to do with it? How are you going to cope? So yeah, I just think for me, that sort of little epiphany today, that actually greed is a strong emotion, and we are being, to one extent, or what I want to say is, there's some sort of timeline. There is a timeline that was given to someone that seems to be playing out, that seems to be following, but yet the messages from the messenger is of greed. It's like a real, this is what's coming. You can view it as that, but also it's a real distraction from life. You see that kind of value, and all you do is think money, and it's so easy. I think what I'm trying to say is, try and stay neutral, try and stay on the path of yourself, your own development, your spiritual, mental development. I'm sure you're all lovely people, and they're the kind of people that we relate to here, because the dark side of those messengers who throw that greed carrot in front of us, they're not who most of us resonate with. We realize after a while, yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but I don't vibe with you. I don't resonate with you. So I'm going to find my own way and find my own people and chat to lovely, lovely people on Twitter and Discord and just feel it and try and feel this experience rather than guessing, you know. And of course, the moon date guessing is fun for a lot of people. But again, I think that's another IQ test. I don't think anybody truly knows. Not even him. I don't think they truly know. I don't think it would be that easy to find that information. So there we go. Yeah. That's how I feel about that. Anybody want to join in? Give me a boost up tonight. Just come and have a chat, have a waffle about anything. It doesn't have to be about greed. It can be about anything. Oh. Requested. Golden Babe 589. So I'm on a loudspeaker. So I'm going to have to kind of try and mute myself. Golden Babe, as you requested first, please say hello.
Hi. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, beautiful. I'll just try to make this quick and short because I got to run. But thank you for holding a space on this topic. I think it's really important to talk about, and I just kind of wanted to chime in and say that I agree. And I think chasing moon dates is probably not the best use of our time. From what I've seen from examining and studying the riddles, it all kind of comes back to a lot of the teachings that they teach in Masonic practices, and when it comes to the thinking man travels east, I feel like that kind of is the answer to our moon date. And I think that you're right. This is a kind of spiritual test and a test of our morals and our values. And I just kind of wanted to jump on and say thanks for holding this space, and I look forward to hearing everyone else's thoughts.
Thank you. That was a really nice input. And yeah, I agree with you. The thinking man travels east. I was studying some of Bjark's posts exactly about that yesterday. He sent them through, and it's all a journey of spirit and mind and opening up that crown chakra to feel the world and accept the experiences into your life. So yeah, in its simplest terms, you nailed it. Thank you. Terrence, my man, let's hear you, buddy.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Just wanted to get in here, man, and say thank you for hosting the space. Honestly, I haven't really looked at any really riddles or anything like that. I think I think with any opportunity like this, right, just play the long game and make yourself dynamic and adaptable for whatever it happens. So whether it goes to this number or that number, how does that personally impact you? And then what are your moves when it hits that number? And then how do you stay dynamic to maximize the situation for yourself? I think that's really why I see it personally. Personally, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, I love that.
So
That's so true. I mean, I don't know your background, but me, especially, I've never had the kind of wealth that I'm expecting to have. So it's all very, very new, new for me there. But I'm at the same time, I'm come across this whole spiritual world of enlightenment, so to speak. So it is very much a sort of a day by day process. I totally agree, one step at a time. But I think it's then acknowledging the prize. How much do you think you need to maybe achieve the dreams that you would like to dream?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I'm with you 110%, and I'm not saying I come from immense wealth either. I mean, I work hard. I put one foot in front of the other day by day. I think that sometimes you just got to be realistic, and I think that realistic is that the reality is, I should say, is that everyone here has a vice. So whether you like, and I'm not saying you, but you like Pokemon cards, or you like building cars, or if you like clothes, or you like this or like that, everyone has a vice. So, I mean, you're going to have urges to spend this wealth on some things that you want. I just simply say, is everyone gets a great opportunity as this thing takes off. Just ensure that you stay dynamic enough to maximize it for yourself or whoever else that may benefit from your hard work into either reading the riddles, ignoring the riddles, or just being patient enough to see this thing through.
Yeah, I love that. And that's true. And that's so true. And I think, when you're a very fairly well grounded and you've got your shit together, that's probably where most people are aiming. And I think it's just this whirlwind. You said you're not really into the riddles, and that's cool. I did happen to delve into them because it was part of my awakening process, and I fell right down the rabbit hole with them. And I did a podcast, one of these from last night as well. It's on my pinned tweet. If you missed it and you'd like to sort of be filled in on some of that, on why it blew my mind when I connected a lot of the dots as to actually the riddles really do mean something, or at least they're stating something. So it's then trying to keep your feet on planet Earth after that, because it does send you away to the fairies, so to speak. When you're thinking, what kind of reality am I living when certain things are being predicted before they happen? And then there's this big psychological movement of crazy people shouting $1,000 XRP, lots of just selfish, strange behavior going on, and it's a bit of a sort of a mental minefield. But I definitely feel like I've used the resources that have come my way to stay very neutral to it. A bit like a lot of people want to turn off the news these days. Absolutely, staying neutral to all affairs going on.
Oh yeah, brother. I mean, listen, I'm not saying whether you like the riddles or not and things of that nature. Yeah, do you be your most authentic self and get into it and grow and elevate. I think that just the rubber will meet the road when the event happens. So I would just say to everyone, don't let the hype cause you to make a mistake or miss what you're really trying to do for yourself or for your family or whatever it may be. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, it's kind of like the Warren Buffett method. Literally, just buy and literally hold as long, because if you believe in the project and you can see the future to some degree, and that is as literally as simple as it is. And I know the problem is a lot of people during this very confusing last 2 years with influencers influencing all over the place. Some people have, made it very tough for themselves, maybe taking debt, really, just thinking when moon is going to be tomorrow, and so they don't get a job, or they don't pay this, that, and the other. So I think, it's for those people I feel most sorry for, in terms of how stretched they are. And it may be the biggest risk they've ever made, and it may pay off beautifully. Um, but we're not there yet. So until that point, there's probably a few people in the community sweating, waiting for that time. But I wanted to ask also, Terence, you mentioned when it happens. So you're not into the riddles, but you do believe something happens with XRP.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, 110%. I mean, the to me, it has a great reason to do what it needs to do. It's a It's a project that has a very strong usage case and intelligent. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. And I just say to myself, okay, well, and I've been, obviously I've been in these spaces before and I'm just listening. And I'm new, I'm a novice, to be honest with you. Just so people go to my page and be like, oh, this guy, yeah, I don't know. I don't know jack shit. I'll tell you that from day one. But I'm just simply saying that it's strong enough to be like, okay, cool, just be patient. Just be patient and it'll come. Because if anything, people were having these type of conversations in certain spaces in, what was it, March? And then they say wait for November. Then they say wait for this, wait for that. So it's like just be patient. It'll come. It'll be here by March, April, whatever you're waiting for. 2023 will be here before you know it. It's only 4 months away. That's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Like time is flying. So it's just like just sit there and wait when it happens. That's my opinion. That's just me. You just be respectful, and this is not financial advice. It's just my viewpoint. It's just entertainment. Just with all due respect.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I mean, I don't know. As I noticed, I've just followed you, but you've obviously just found me somehow tonight. So I appreciate you joining in this space.
Yeah, I follow the guy, Tom. Tom is a pretty cool dude. He had a couple of dope things he said a while back, and he said something about your space. I just wanted to listen in.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's how you found it. Okay, cool. Well, that makes sense. Yes, because as I say, most people that follow me probably already sort of come from that view of that mindset that you just stated. So you don't have to worry about any financial advice. I think we're all there. We can see the long game without doubt. And I just think that there's just so much. And well, clearly good for you. You've got your mind straight, and you're just on a no noise route for you, at the minute, and that's quite wonderful. It's quite refreshing to hear. Being excited about an investment without any of the noise. Yeah, awesome. The only thing I guess that has created the noise in this community, say for example, last year I was following a narrative that XRP would probably top out at $10. And then the narrative was, well, everyone that sells at that price would then miss out on the bigger prize. So we don't know actually how it's going to work out. But if good people are going to benefit from this, I think this was the whole journey, was the journey, the traveling east, the holding on for the longest possible duration so that you do get that prize. Because apparently the prize is going to be very good. And, what was there from sort of your point of view, from your rumor mill, was there a price that interested you? And I know this is about greed, so I'm not saying anyone here is greedy, but was there a price in your mind?
At first there wasn't. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I heard about certain stuff that it did, I was trying to get into Bitcoin. Just trying to diversify my investments, and then somehow I heard about Ripple through a mutual colleague. Honestly, XRP through a mutual colleague, and then this thing could go up and this thing could be successful. So, um, the way I see it, my mindset is that okay, good. So say for example, say if it goes to $10, right? And if my number is 10, right? How do I maximize it at that price point to satisfy what I want to get done for myself and for the long term? So that's the way I kind of see it. It's like I have what I have. When it gets to what I want to get to, then I'll be satisfied. And I fully believe people like yourself and people that host these spaces truly have gathered a lot of information and are God sent to share good information that just confirms that being patient pays off for everyone involved with XRP. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. It does indeed. Thank you. And I think that perhaps that may be the realistic target in the short term, but that's why it's such an emotive, greed-driven community is because no one, absolutely no one of my normal following is, I think I'd be right to say, satisfied with $10. I think everybody has been, literally programmed to want a higher value than that. And whether that is good, bad, or ugly, whatever your reasons for wanting that, I think we've all been programmed, and I am guilty, 100% guilty of being programmed to not be satisfied with $10. But I also think that's because of some of the symbology I've seen on my way. It's almost that it was telling us as well that isn't going to be the best target. So yeah, it's a very, very difficult one. I think in terms of spirit, going back to that, the reason I hope, and I'm just going to hold long term, but the reason I want to overall is I do want to escape from the rat race, because the last 2 years has woken me up to that understanding that not everyone has to be in it, and if I'm of the right mindset and I've got the right intention, that I can, and I can do something more positive, even though my current job is positive, and I have a good give back to the community, so to speak. I want more freedom of choice, to be able to experience more, but then give more, because ultimately I think true wealth, when you are, if what happens and crypto is going to explode more than, and I'm talking about the main cryptos, if it's going to explode more than we could ever imagine, and that is kind of the narrative that I'm vibing from most places, like Shiba Inu, for example. I bought some for $90 in February 2021, and if I'd have just gone into a coma for 6 months and woken up, I'd have made $700,000 from a $90 investment. I think Shiba is the leading example of what can happen in the future, what will happen when the trillions and quadrillions come into crypto, via the reset kind of into CBDCs. They want us digital. They have to incentivize, and these assets have to be worth a certain price, and that's why I'm just going to avoid anything anywhere near $10. I think it would be stupid not to take something, because you never know. There could be an up, there could be a down, up, down, up, down, up, down for the next 10 years. And then never be an overnight moon, like has also been programmed into us. The riddles do tend to lead us to a particular sort of scenario, but does it really mean anything to do with XRP? Could it just be a spiritual event, or some other kind of physical event in the world? It's hard to say, but that's how I kind of vibe with it.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I'm with you. You want to continue to grow mentally, physically, spiritually, and just elevate who you are. And like I said, I mean, I think it's gonna do great things. I'm not gonna sit up here and say it's gonna do X, Y, or Z. I think that just whenever it gets to wherever it needs to get to for you personally, just make sure you got the plan in place to maximize it, because we're all human. We're not perfect, so we're gonna make mistakes, or we're gonna be impulsive to do certain things, X, Y, or Z, whatever they may be. So just maximize it, man. Just win, because life is short. Life is short, and time is moving a lot faster than a lot of people will think about. So I just think that what I'm saying, keep doing your thing.
Thank you, Terence. I really appreciate your input tonight. You've been excellent. Lovely, refreshing review. Very nice. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, man. Peace.
You are welcome anytime. Anybody else? Kang, you fancy a chat? Yogini? Anybody fancy having a little chat? And Terence, of course, if there's anything else you'd like to say, or yeah, in fact, do you have any questions about the weird and wonderful world of while we're waiting for others to come in? Do you have any sort of more abstract questions?
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment. Like these things because you know, questions or so always.
You broke a lot there, but I think I got the gist of no. So thank you. Okay, Tom, I will, after this, I will take a look at your posts that you've sent me, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Okay, so in the absence of anybody having any questions, I guess I just recap my thoughts. So basically, we had this issue with somebody today, you know, from Blood's Crypto Discord, and by the way, from what I've seen of that Discord, it's really honest. It's very nice, fairly pleasant. Of course, you get a few wrong uns everywhere you go, but yeah, Blood Crypto. I recommend. It's a free forum. There's over 1,000 people in there. He plans to close it post moon, whatever that will be. But it's a nice place. Got Block Biz in there in terms of wealth management, and a lot of free thinkers. So it's quite a good place. If anybody's looking for a place to settle, look for Blood Crypto, and yeah, I highly recommend that. Tom, hello. If you are here, Tom, go ahead. No, there you go. While I'm waiting for Tom, so yeah, agreed. Is $1,000 XRP an achievable price in some overnight flipperoo? Will the pools of liquidity open and do that? Is that the purpose of all the riddles? Was the purpose of all the riddles to make us rich, or just change us, or both? Anybody want to answer that question? Tom, welcome. Go for it.
Hey, I just thought I'd have a little chat while I can. Thank you for hosting the space as well.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Nice to chat to you. Yeah, like I said, I will go through the bits you've sent me, but
Oh yeah, I'm in no rush.
please go. No worries. What would you like to say, buddy? And the floor is yours. Chill. Don't worry. Enjoy. If this is your first time doing this, I'm not sure.
Oh, I'll speak on block business spaces a bit. So I've been in this for a similar amount of time that you have, a little bit longer. And obviously, well, the way I went about it was I probably did 6 to 8 months of research, like solid research on XRP and Ripple before I even decided to come to Twitter. And then when I came to Twitter, obviously I came across Bearable Guy 123. So after being convinced of the factual evidence, the riddlers seemed quite, curious. Like, why did they exist? So obviously, after that point, spent, I don't know, 12 to 18 months looking into everything I could to do with the Riddlers. But it came to a point where Block made me realize this. It's all good sitting and hoping, because it's a bit more than hope, because there's research behind it all that I'm sure everyone in here has done. But I believe the best thing everyone can do is to focus on what to do after. And the reason that is because either it's going to happen or it's not going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, you continue down the path that you were probably going to go down anyway. But if it does happen, at least you are almost prepared for it. Because if something does happen, I don't think anyone's really prepared for it. But yeah,
I'd agree with that.
I just wanted to point on that, and I think it's good to get your general financial education to a higher level, regardless of what you believe in.
Yeah, Tom, I couldn't agree more, and I think that is something that the community are starting to do more now. You know, people like BlockBiz are really starting to remind us of that. I think the intriguing thing is let's just say XRP does go to, let's just say it goes to $100 at some point in the next 2 years due to some crazy spike. You know, you would probably be mad not to take some profits at that price. In fact, you'd be insane if you didn't. But Crypto Lulu, I really like him. He's a really nice, honest guy, and I dare say you've seen him in Blood's channel as well. He like me, he shares a similar view that I think XRP could just be a long-term hold that we might not actually ever need to sell. We could just maybe leverage it, and it obviously does depend on how quickly it goes up. But there's so many other implications if you are taking profits and you're going to be taking tax. And then I know, I dare say there are ways around avoiding it. I mean, but that's obviously not the cool thing to do, is it? Avoid tax. That's a different story, a different topic. But yeah, there seems to be sort of an underlying narrative that we might not ever need to sell it, and that actually just holding for considerable length of time, maybe up to 2030, we'll see an incredible return. And by then, digital finance will be so involved with smart contracts and perhaps even some sort of staking of our assets. Whether they're going to have to ever be staked with the whether it will, DeFi will remain, or whether the institutions will have a hold of our assets, whether we choose to give them up or not. So yeah, I kind of get that wealth management side. You know what to do, whether you're investing in in houses, property, get your passive income going. I guess it makes sense to take profits, to do that, to reinvest, to get some of those passive income streams coming. But if XRP, say for example, you're going through Polysign and you're able to, utilize that being a liquidity provider, and you get a return on that, and it's a sufficient return, then yeah, you probably would never need to actually take any profits. But that's all in development, and that's stuff that we don't necessarily all know yet.
Yeah, I agree with how it's going to play out. Well, this is what the XRP ledger is designed to do. So the way money works today, as the Federal Reserve prints some dollars and then it trickles to other central banks who buy US bonds, and then it obviously trickles down from them into, you know, like a pyramid almost. But the way I visualize the global pools of liquidity is just, I don't know how to describe it. Just these massive just I don't know how to describe it. Just any country will be able to source liquidity on a level playing field. That's what it's designed to do. So this is the whole goal of it all. I mean, I don't know how to go into detail about it. Yeah, I think you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely know what you mean. You know, I'm not the technical guy, but I get it enough to know that you know, there's a lot of debt that's got to be serviced. There's obviously the Nostro and Vostro accounts that are holding trillions. That'll all be released because it won't be needed anymore. So the potential, you know, if dreamers can dream, and the potential for XRP in terms of just what they're saying is going to be flowing through the XRPL and alike, you know, quadrillions is an incredible number. And if XRP has to be a certain value at that point, then so be it. And if we are able to utilize, capitalize on that price, whatever it might be, and still be in the game, then wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And it's, like you say, just a case of what we do with it there and then after. And I think most people, they just want to start with themselves, which is completely understandable. You got to fix your own house, your own roof, you know, before you can make any progress in the world. But you know, I do see lots of people with just these lovely fantasies of changing the world, you know, having a little role in changing some part of the ecosystem, how it works, how it rolls, and it's going to be quite fascinating. And I think the whole idea of you'll have nothing and you'll be happy, I think that falls on the generations around us of our age and a bit younger, where that, you know, they're still stuck in the school trap. They're not buying assets. Their house prices are only going up. Cost of living is only going up. They're less inclined to want to work, less motivated apparently, and you can see that with a lot of kids coming through. And they'll be the kids of the UBI world, and they will literally own nothing and be happy, I dare say, with whatever's coming. And I don't know really how that fits with us in terms of we in theory will have some wealth behind us, and from what I can tell, we might actually not be very popular in the future as people with wealth. But I think, you know, that's the challenge. You know, when we're smart and we're nice, we're a different breed to perhaps the rich people that already exist in the strange sort of setups they have. We're a different breed, so we may bring a lot of extra love into the world, and a lot of extra hope, and that's kind of what I wonder is going on with this Masonic riddle connections. You know, is this just a big awakening movement to get a whole group of people who are aware they're more love than hate, they're not greedy overall. Then obviously there's going to be some. There's always going to be some. They want to make a difference in the world, and there are still people that want to do that. we're not all programmed into submission just yet. Thanks, Nia. Yeah, and so I do think there is an opportunity here, an opportunity to believe, and an opportunity to really to change the world. And it literally is just a case of waiting. And the problem is, what I was trying to highlight with the greed aspect of this podcast was that there's so many distractions at the minute in terms of, a big shouty voice constantly calling $1,000. Now, obviously, that will change lives, and that'll be beautiful, and you got different scams and different this and that and the other. And that's why I was saying it's just really important to find yourself, find that neutral ground. If you're still somebody who's reacting to the news, or reacting to Biden, or reacting to Trump, or even reacting to those voices in the crypto Twitter sphere that you don't like or resonate with, this is your time. It's not just for wealth management, but also for your own spirituality, to find that neutrality where those people don't bother you anymore. It doesn't matter what they say; they don't bother you anymore, because you're past that. You're bigger than that. You're running your own game. You're running your own algorithm in this world. It's you and you only. And if you can nail that before when moon, if you can literally have a conversation, see the crap that goes around, and it not phase you, then you know you're winning, in my opinion. Okay, I've got a couple of questions from the chat. Yeah, Kang, XLS 30 game changer with the AMMs, and potential talk of single token staking pools with no risk of impermanent loss. Yeah, what else is there on the bottom of this reply? Oh. Yeah, that is certainly. I've been speaking to a few people about the XLS 30 and how the AMMs, which is the automatic money maker. I think I've got that right. That's apparently going to be a game changer. That is, I believe, the process where we then become the liquidity provider. How quickly that all comes to fruition, and we get access to this, what risks there are, I think that will be the new level of conversation when it comes to it. And there'll be a lot of very, very confused people thinking, "Oh my God, what do I do with my XRP?" But hopefully that will come, and we'll start understanding that in time. And I should probably, all these little things that I should probably start focusing on a lot more. And Kang, according to one guy I was chatting to, I think he had like March as a time frame for XLS 30 potentially being ready, maybe even as late as May, but 2023, I think that's looking likely. But you don't see much about it, which is really interesting. For such a game-changing element, you don't see much about that at all. Chad Garlickhouse, I want to touch on something you've said. You did not mention this, but it's what you meant. I think this whole XRP thing is an ARG. It recruits like-minded individuals who, for the most part, want to do good with their wealth. We all have some of the same attributes. Now, you lost me with an ARG. Are you thinking augmented reality game? Is that what you're thinking? But yeah, I agree. We do all have, a lot of us do have a lot of the same similar attributes, actually. We're almost like we've been, you're right, recruited. We've been found, maybe we've been awoken. Maybe this is always our destiny. Maybe, as someone like Logan from Decode Reality would say, we're just part of the script. This was always meant to be. That's quite a hard concept to fathom. But yeah, maybe we are the individuals who make a difference. Alternative reality game. Okay, thank you. Yeah, well, I don't know how far down the rabbit hole you are, but you know, I'm a subscriber to this world being somewhat of a mathematical simulation. Some of my own experiences have blown me away, and so you know, if you then consider AI in all this, and I think from my discussions with people, I think Mr. Paul, with all of his messages, I think he is a controlled AI account, and I wonder then how they then read us. You know, everything we type, do, think, perhaps. Automated market makers. Thank you, Kang's Creations. You know, are we being studied? Is our transformation being studied? You know, do they know exactly who we are? That's certainly a mind-blowing aspect of it, and I think they probably do. But you know what? If we are the chosen ones to take this new little avenue of life, then so be it. It's our journey, and we'll enjoy it. Yeah, just to reiterate, the other Kang's Creation, the AMM means automated market makers, and that's what we want to be looking for and waiting for, apparently. So if we can get into those pools of liquidity, we'll earn well. All right, 10:30. Been going an hour. I haven't got any requests. Tom, would you like to say anything else? And anybody else, would you like to step forward and ask a few questions?
I'll cover why I believe there will be a price jump. And as Bullish has just joined the space, I know he'll love this. So David talks about the walls and building almost like, well, we know they're called side chains, but imagine them as private little islands that are bordered off around each sovereign nation around the world, and they are building on these systems. These are what the private ledgers are. It's not another ledger with a different price. It's off the open network. Otherwise, they can't test. Like you can't change the financial system on a whim. You can't just one day go, let's give it a go today, and then the whole system comes crashing down. Yes.
No.
Oh, sorry. What?
I was just laughing. Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, the whole overnight thing. It's perhaps not quite overnight.
No, it'll be a period of time, but it'll be a mind-blowing period of time. Because, and he's also said other things like, because you've got to think of it in a logical perspective. If one central bank starts using this technology with another central bank, they're going to get the benefits of the technology. And the other banks aren't just going to sit back and go, well, they're using these, this new great tech, and then they're paying barely any fees. And what are we going to do? Just sit here and twiddle our thumbs? No, they're all going to go on board. I don't know if it'll be. I don't believe it'll be the whole thing straight away, but the main payment corridors between like G20, G7 nations, I believe they'll all go live at the same time.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah. it does make sense. Like when I've heard of the theory, like a computer, when you turn it on, it's either on or it's off, and that does make sense. That there will be a set date where a certain system or the liquidity is turned on. Yeah, because at some point, well, let's just take the Nostra Vostra accounts as one part of it. One day, once Ripple start using their software, that money's not going to be needed anymore. It's literally going to be instant. All right, we're using Ripple now. Let's find a place for all of this Nostro cash. That's kind of how I understand it. I could be completely wrong, but from everything I've listened to, that's how I understand it. So yeah, I think there really will be an element of that, and obviously David Schwartz has often alluded to it. We've seen loads of glitches. Yeah, and I think it's almost inevitable. I don't even. It's not even. A debatable point. I think we are all literally at the point of actually, I agree. This is going to happen.
Yeah, I tried for a long time to prove myself wrong, because I find that's one of the best ways to learn something. And if you can't, you've been here a similar amount of time as me. So do you remember back in 2020? I can't remember what it was in particular, but we keep getting them. There's new things that pop up all the time, and people call them the XRP killer. And this is going to do such a greater job than XRP. And each time, information comes out that dissuades that the prospect of these other tokens taking over what XRP is designed to do. I don't know if you remember. Why have I just forgot his name? Like Hodor, who's the other guy with the sailboat? What? Galgatron. I don't know why I forgot his name. Yeah, I don't know how many people in here have been around long enough to remember Galgatron, but he left just after the lawsuit started. But Galgatron was one of the main FUD fighters for the XRP community. So if no one's read his blogs before, they're still up. Just Google Galgatron blogs, and you'll be able to find them.
Oh, I must admit, I saw a few of his posts, but no, he wasn't one that I studied. Did he has still blogs on the internet?
Yeah. I can send them to you.
Oh yeah, please do. Please do. I'd be interested to read through those. But yeah, the FUD is real, isn't it? I think we've seen that over a period of time, that it just keeps coming. And to be honest, even Ripple themselves, well, not they haven't created it, but as I mentioned last night in my spaces, these smart big companies, they look to be sued. They do actually actively look to be sued, and that's just one of the tactics that they use, so that they can get clarity. And that's one of the things that they're always looking at. If you sue us, this is what we want to achieve, and so that we have clarity first in the market, and guarantees our success. And obviously, there's a lot more in-house politics to go with that. But essentially, if you just look at it simply, it's a good thing that Ripple got sued, because they're going to come out shining of roses, regardless of the outcome. Yogini, welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi. I just wanted to add a point. It's so nice listening to everyone. You sound so pleasant and nice. But I wanted to add something to the comment by the gentleman before about the overnight. I have a systems background, so I've done a lot of multinational systems integration, huge, big integrations, and and I'm sure a lot of people here have those backgrounds as well. So when I saw the overnight, to me, that's typical of any type of integration. You build, or a platform is built, it's a sandbox, everybody plays in it, messes around with it, testing, everything is done in that environment for quite some time. I mean, upwards of a year. And then when everything is organized, then it's cut over. And that typically will happen within a 24 or 48 hour period. So it's a switch over. And it's instant, it cuts over. So I'm not sure if a lot of the folks are familiar with that. But from my perspective, when I saw that, it's typical. So I'm new to the crypto as of like 2 years. And what brought me into this was back in 2017, because I've done a lot of upgrades and changes and integrations with a lot of different companies that Um, we were talking about the Swift upgrade back in 2017. Now, of course, I'm looking at it from just a systems perspective, finance, supply chain, business, right? And I didn't think anything about that. And then, of course, when everything happened in 2020, and I started getting pinged in these different areas of XRP. And I'm like, what is this all about? And then I started reading all the white papers and just all the information on it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this totally makes sense. This is exactly how it is. So from a systems perspective, it makes sense to me because in organizations there is a good portion that is centralized as well as portions that are decentralized, and you have to find a way to make them work together. So without getting into high tech here from a systems perspective, it all makes sense to me. So even when I listen to the DeFi folks, right, the decentralized folks, and how they're arguing with the centralized, and in my mind, they go together and they can work together. So anyway, I just wanted to sort of throw my 2 cents and then tell everybody how pleasant they sound. It's just and new to this crypto space, or the in the Twitter. I've only been here probably 6 months. So, as far as the riddle stuff, I'm a little bit of a geek like that, and can kind of move into solving things. But to me, it feels more like oh, and I'm a Vedic astrologer as well. So I wear a lot of different hats. Um, so to me, it feels like this is it starts getting more dimensional, multidimensional for me, that we're operating at multiple levels here. And I believe you said something around the AI and the simulation perspective, but I not so much from a mechanical perspective, but from more of an esoteric perspective. So anyway, I don't know if any of that makes sense to everybody, but at least from a systems perspective, I can give firsthand experience, um, or feedback that it's very typical cut over. I mean, that's how you do it. So anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Wow. uh, I wasn't expecting that. That was amazing. Um, Absolutely amazing on every aspect. The Vedic astrology, I'd love to know more about. Perhaps I can speak to you after or another day. But yeah, the overnight thing, the switcheroo. I have heard something similar to that, but it's really refreshing to hear it again, in such a nicely presented, simple way, and so you get it. You've not been in long. You've done the research, and it just makes sense. And that's the beauty of it, because you could survive, where you could do this investment, literally with your eyes closed, purely on the research. And it's only the Riddlers, and the other chap from that financial company that does talk about a buyback, so like $35,000 buyback, which I don't subscribe to. It seems insane, but other than that, the Riddlers are kind of the only ones that have suggested how high the price could go. And so that's the journey for us. If we are so enlightened, and we are, going to be a change for the future for this world, so to understand it better, to know where it's going, would enable us to stay in the game longer, and just having that extra awareness. And I think that's what the riddles bring. They say, be patient, just wait it out. And I refer again to the video by XRP Productions that was on his YouTube for a very long time, and it was something called Progress. If not many of you've watched it, I will be uploading that sort of a summary decode to that. I don't know who he is, but I imagine a lot of these people are from those groups, and it was such a well presented video. In essence, by the end of the video, you could see that he was trying to say the value of XRP is going to be enough where you can send just 0.1 of an XRP to change somebody's life, and this is much further in the future. And it really resonated, the understanding of it. The video only had about 5,000 views, and you just think, out of everybody, even in our scene, they haven't listened to this to grasp this message that these people are trying to tell us. And so it is everything encompassing. And I do hope that people like us, or like-minded, lovely people, can really take advantage, and do something wonderful in the future. And I noticed Blood's here, and I was talking about your group earlier. And I'll just let you know that it seems to be one of the most authentic Discords out there, and I do encourage people to join. It's free. You seem to have a nice handle on it. You've got a nice ethos. You've got wealth management in mind. So I applaud you on that, and I look forward to being more involved.
I was just going to say, I was probably about 500 to 1,000 of those views. I've seen Progress so many times. I think that is, for someone who is in XRP and has some sort of belief in riddlers, even if they can't, decode or whatever, those videos are inspiring, and that's what they were designed to be. Because we have an opportunity that has never been really given to the average person. I'm gonna step down now, so I'm just gonna listen in. Thank you for having me up.
Thank you, Tom, for your contribution. It's been really good. I really appreciate the time you've given to us tonight. And yeah, Progress. It was a really strange one. The first time I stumbled across it, I didn't really take it in. The message was not lost on me, but I guess there's a lot of story before it, and I think I missed the message at the end the first time I listened. And the more you listen, my goodness, there is literally, they tell you of all the future investments that you should probably be keeping an eye out for, and that's what I'm going to decode. There is no sort of, I'm not looking for a moon date in there or anything like that, but it's literally way in the future. These are the kind of technological advancements that will be out, and these are what I invested in, he said. So that will be a very good idea for some future investments post the moonage. Just reading through the last few messages. If anybody would like to step forward and talk, love to have you, Chen. Awesome. I think. Oh, Neo. Sorry. Yeah. Your question. Why me? Why us? What makes us different than the current elite? Looking into the world, what's happening around us? So much pain, so much greed. The Great Reset is due to the current elite failing, and with each day, it's gotten worse. We've been selected. That's an interesting question for me, and something I talk to my my wife about a lot. I don't know if I think that the current elite are going to lose their spot. I don't think this is how it works. I imagine they all know about XRP and the narrative that the rich are only going to get richer. I think actually that is going to be true. But where do we come in? I think we're Obi-Wan Kenobi's last hope, perhaps, in that somebody wants us in the game, and there's this new technology, and we're being given this opportunity, and we're being awakened. I mean, you can't say. I know a lot of people were awakened by 9/11, and the last 2 years. I know a lot of people have been awakened, and most of you here will probably understand what that means in the last 2 years. And it's almost like they want us here. They want us to play a part because there needs to be that duality. It seems with their darkness comes our light, I guess. Our difference. Mike Myers did a really funny, like a kind of piss take of the Masons called the Pentaverate, and it literally describes, goes through all of the all of the aspects. It's really funny, but it ends up with quite a change, and it really fit how my wife and I were sort of feeling that this was going to be, and we watched that, and the change at the end is literally men and women of very different backgrounds having a much more harmonious leadership. So I don't know if that's a quiet kind of suggestion by the creators of that, of what's to come, whether they know it's coming or whether they're hoping that that's what it's going to be. And so I don't think they disappear, but I think we come into effect, and we start like a ripple effect. Where you have, let's say the elite, let's say the stronger ones of them, they are the water, we're the juice, and with every drop of juice we add to the water, it changes color, and that's kind of how I feel we will play a part in the future. And if we can stay together, I think a lot of people say, I've actually spoken to quite a lot of people and say, once XRP moons, I'm going to go and live on a desert island and just go away from everyone. Now, although I get that sentiment completely, if we stay together, and obviously not in each other's pockets, but we stay in touch, we build the new groups. We don't necessarily join the old ones, although I know that there are people in these ranks trying to get us to join the older ranks of the Masons, and I don't know if that's our destiny, whether people should be doing that. I dare say some people will like the idea of joining the Masons, and probably will as a result of learning these type of things. Is that our destiny, or are we the future groups, the ones that have the new ideas, the compassion, the good value, the human values, and then ultimately, is this the reset, or is there a reset coming in the future? And are we supposed to be leaders of that reset? Where there is, as many films depict, a big global crisis of liquidity, or is that just an analogy for what's coming? So there's a lot of factors at play, but I do think the least we can do is come together, and with a nod and a wink, if we do lose ways, if for example what I was talking about last night comes to fruition, and there is some kind of cyber takedown, where a lot of information is lost, like the existence of the Riddlers, like some elements of Twitter, some of the socials, maybe even Discord. I don't know what would happen if that scenario played out. But perhaps it will be hard for us to all stay in contact. Perhaps we will go our separate ways. But if the universe wants it, then we'll figure a way, and we'll figure a way to find each other again, and give each other a wink and a nod, and we'll know instantly who we are. I've had many a conversation like that. So your last part of your question, Neo, we are different because we are connected, not focused on maximizing profits. The world gives us power, and what are we giving the world back? So what I think we're giving the world back. So a lot of hopefuls are hoping for some ascension event. There's a very sort of spiritual thing. I have no idea. Like, I'm trying to become a lot more spiritual, but I have no idea if there is an escape from here, or whether we reincarnate constantly. Where this is a game. It's always nice to look on the optimistic side and be hopeful that you are escaping the matrix, so to speak. Once you're no longer financially dependent on the system, you can escape that. And if you've already escaped spiritually in your mind, you are technically fully escaped from the matrix. But is there any more? Is there any other kind of spiritual escape, like after death or whatever? That's a real deep aspect. But what are we giving the world? We have to give us. We're what we give the world. Our imparting our knowledge, our voice, our opinion, our love, especially love. We have to be a little more love than neutral to counter a lot of the negative stuff we see. And of course, if our influence slowly affects the world, like I said, with the juice in the water, then that's all we can hope for, and that's what we're giving back. I imagine myself with, perhaps I do own houses, for a passive income. But then I think, well, somebody else not having that opportunity because of me, but perhaps all the institutions would buy them up anyway. So if I did own a house, what would I do? Well, I would want to give them cheaper rent. I would want to make someone's life easier, or if I can start a business and employ people and be the most incredible leader, that these people have their jobs and they turn up happy and they look forward to life. Or I'm doing a lot of, it's quite a different thing to chuck yourself out on Twitter speaking to people, but it's in my code. I can't deny it. I have had this impulse for years to just help people, and then this comes along, and I'm thinking, oh wow, I'm literally here. This is my destiny. Is beginning. I'm not saying like me talking on Twitter is like my destiny, but I think helping people to understand, just listening to people. I've got so much compassion for humanity, that I want to give it back. And I would literally want for nothing now. I've got all this potential wealth coming my way, and I don't even aspire a nice car. I want a reasonable house so we can, that's security, but everything else just wouldn't bother me. Just got this innate need to help. And everyone will find their own. It doesn't matter if you don't or anybody else doesn't, but you'll find your own way to impart your contribution onto the world. And I wouldn't worry about looking for it. It'll find you. Kang, hello.
Hello, everyone. Couple things I would love to chat about. Been listening now for about an hour, I guess, and the first thing I wanted to touch on, or at least just maybe kind of see if anybody else has a theory on this, but when someone just said, why do the controllers or the Riddlers, the elite, why do they want us in on XRP? Why has this ever been done before? And many people would be like, oh, this has never been done before, but I'd argue to say that this has been done before. And they tried to get people to buy Bitcoin back in the early days of 2012 with the Cicada 3301 game and the Tyler AI game. There are things hidden within there that told you to buy Bitcoin way back when. And of course, it wasn't as obvious as the Riddlers are now, but I was shown quite a bit of information from the Cicada game and people that have decoded stuff, and it told you to buy Bitcoin 10 years ago, and that it's going to be a leader in the financial system, and that has come out to be very true. As we see now, would you have sold, at $100, $200, buying a dollar or whatever? Like, probably you still would have come up quite a bit, but hey, if you really paid attention to this game, I bet there's a select 100 or so people in this world that decoded the Cicada properly and are now billionaires, and they are helping shape the world to how they see fit, right? So now they probably saw that, that could have been a failed task, that not enough people got in, or not the right people got in, the people with the right hearts and the right mindset. So they had to have a retry. So what is the next phase of the financial system, right? It's XRP, the XRP ledger, which has been running nonstop for a decade. No hiccups. It's never shut off. It's never been turned off. And to what Yogini was saying with the whole testing systems, it's like, yeah, like most companies, definitely, like, yeah, they'll do their beta test for like a year or so. The developers have been creating this for over a decade now, and they've had 10 years to fully see the ins and outs, what works, what doesn't, how to properly decentralize the technology. Whereas, the 51% attack with Bitcoin, that's definitely nothing. The technology is nothing like what XRP Ledger is capable of, right? So in that sense, the technology is outdated. They knew it was a problem. And so that's just my 2 cents on that. And I'll stop talking for a second if you have any thoughts on that.
Wow, that's really interesting. Obviously, I'm aware of Cicada, but having been only in crypto for 2 years, I haven't delved back into that to understand it, but it makes a lot of sense. Look at the opportunity; it was worth pittance to go to 69,000. The lucky ones really, really, really would have changed their lives. And yeah, like you said, I mean, apparently it was very, very difficult from what I've seen of it. So, if anything, these riddles potentially a lot easier, perhaps. Um, do you think there'll be another event, another opportunity after this, or do you think this is maybe the final one, the one where they want to get everybody in?
Well, I mean, is this technology going to be used in 50 years, 100 years? Something might be better at that point in time. So there might be a time for a new game and a new group of Riddlers with some new technology to help people. But, as time goes on and we evolve and technologies change, and, who knows what's really available to reality. We've been hidden. So much has been hidden from us, and even our true history and our past here in this realm. I feel like we need to know the truth. And obviously, Elon taking over Twitter, this is step one to get the truth out properly, to see what is really happening in the world. So without knowing the problem, you can't offer a finite solution. You can't offer any solution if you don't even know what the problem is first. So people need to be made aware of the things happening in the world at the right speed, not to just inundate people with a million things one over again and just crush people with information. People will tune out. So it has to be this slow dissemination. So I think, this is the next step for the right people to get in. And, again, I'm so sold on this. And this is probably just my intuition, but I feel like the Riddler's purpose is to not sell when we hit $5, $10, $20 even, $50 even, $100 even. I feel like with these new implementations and what the technology can offer with the ODL, the on-demand liquidity solution, I feel like they are giving us this opportunity to become, a bank, and to be this liquidity provider that we'd never have this chance in any other facet of the world. Even if we were in some elite family and we had people that ran the banks in our bloodline and really understood the makings of what liquidity pools are. I feel like this is probably our best chance to be, and who knows, I could be completely wrong on this, but I think this is our best chance to help shape the new ecosystem, which, is going to give power back to the people. And hey, what a better way to change the world than to give, and yeah, the Riddlers, this is all an initiation. And this is initiation into this club of holding this asset that is going to be the lifeblood of literally the workings of all finance in this realm, right? So in that sense, yeah, we're being hazed right now. This is a hazing ritual. We're going to pump it up a little bit. We're going to drop it down to a couple of cents. It's going to push people out, and they want you out. They want people out now. They want people out at $2. They want people out at $5, $10. But if this single token pool is really going to come through, and I highly suggest everyone to go research what liquidity pools are, the mechanics of it, what impermanent loss is. It's a very, very, very high risk situation. And I'll just explain a little bit. So if you get in to a liquidity pool with, say, XRP and USDC, and it's 50 cents, XRP is 50 cents, right? So you have to have equal parts XRP to the USDC, right? And then say XRP goes to $5, you are going to lose a shit ton of XRP in your interface, right, you are going to see significantly less XRP. So what that is impermanent loss. And these are not realized losses because you haven't exited the pool yet. But say you need money and you need to get out, you're going to have massive losses because you are going to have 500% less XRP than what you put into the pool initially, right? So I just say, go study what liquidity pools are. But if there are single staking pools that we can put up our liquidity and our value, this could be highly lucrative and basically risk-free.
So, Yogini, just before you come in, so I get that. I've had a couple of experiences with the liquidity pools, and it was horrible. And does obviously if say the XRP goes to $5, so you have a lot less XRP, but does not the value of the USDC increase? No, does that not level out?
Yes, that will increase basically, but as that keeps going up, and say people want to cash out and people want to get out of there, it's going to be, and again, it's like you'll get fees, you will get paid, you will get a percentage fee of your percentage in the pool with all the other participants, right? So this could be just me and you and Bullish and Golden Babe here, and say, everyone else is in there too, and they pull out. You do not want to be the last person standing in the liquidity pool. You're going to get absolutely wrecked. So
I see.
You could potentially take that out, right? But then you have whatever percentage less XRP. But yeah, you have a lot of USDC now, for sure. But it's not going to. It's going to be basically a realized loss if more people get out before you get out. So that is a very high risk situation, and it's very dangerous for people to go in unknowing the whole mechanics of how things work. But with the AMM, the automated market maker, it's basically going to be bots doing arbitrage, basically finding the best deal and placing bids. So every time somebody swaps one for the other, so say people come into an exchange or the DEX and they have a bunch of USDC and they want XRP. Every time they get some, you're going to get a percentage. And whatever percentage you get is your percentage that you are into that pool, which the interface should show you at that point. And who knows what that looks like at this point, I don't know. But yeah, they're saying that they're going to start voting on it. The validators are going to start voting on it in, I think, early Q1. And yeah, possibly by March, could be operational. So it seems to be all timed together. And this whole thing, the lawsuit, all these actions, everything has been planned for quite some time. So just I want everyone to know, sit back, relax. It's all planned. There's nothing to fear. No matter what they rule, this is the chosen one. Absolutely.
Excellent analysis. Thank you for the input on those. And I agree, yeah, liquidity pools have sucked so far, but a single staking currency would be lovely. Yogini, go for it. Patiently waiting.
Listen, thank you for that, Kang. As I'm listening to you, the first thing that pops into my mind is that sounds like a perfect methodology, right? Because stability is what we're shooting for here. To number one, provide stability, meaning that it's an incentive not to sell, or it's an incentive to hold on to it, which is going to provide stability. I have not read any of this that you just talked about, but what I wanted to add, when I keep hearing how everybody, it really goes into more of this spiritual and esoteric, and I am one of those people who have, as far left as my brain is, and it's pretty far left, it also equally goes to the right. So I have a nice balance between that logic and intuition, and that's why I'm able to do the astrology. But it occurred to me because I'm a little bit of a geek, kind of a little bit into science, and have a lot of R&D or system or software development and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you name it, I've done it. And so I'm sitting here thinking from the astrology perspective, if I could get a sample of some of these folks, because it feels to me as I listen to everyone that this is like a soul group. What, if we go into sort of that esoteric side of it, we're, the theory of soul groups where you come in and there's karma attached to it and on and on. And I don't want to be offensive to anyone who's not into that. But when I listen to you guys, I'm like totally resonating with that, right? So it feels like there is something like that may be going on. And it just occurred to me a few days ago, put my science hat on, and I'm like, if I could cross correlate, if I could get a sample of some of these folks who are in the space, look at their chart, and then cross correlate timing. Okay, I'm like super geek. And I've already gotten, now here's what's interesting, guys. I already have 3 charts, and it just so happened, it was very organic how that happened. And I'm blown away at the correlations that I'm seeing. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. So there's just certain things, and it's highly technical. I mean, for me to, go into all this jargon, I'll lose everybody. They'll be like, what the heck is she talking about? So, but it's more, it's like a statistic, from a statistics, or, if you've done technical analysis with with stock market, all the various layers of charts, and we look at this view and this view and this view and view. It's very similar. Vedic astrology is very similar to that. It's very complicated and complex. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, and just a sample, just a little bit of a sample, and maybe do some sort of correlate, because it tells you as an individual, it's your soul blueprint, and it tells you your cycles, your individual cycles. Now, just, I mean, again, to get a little bit esoteric here, my opinion, the Vedas, okay, if anyone's familiar with that, way back, supposedly in our supposed golden age, again, that yuga, this is all ancient text, and it's written down, and, you've got to study all that, and it's its own religion, in and of itself, somewhat. But my opinion is that this methodology, the Vedic methodology, was trying to capture consciousness at a quantum level. So that may be pretty deep, and that may be like, what the heck is she even talking about? But now we are in an age where the systems, right, quantum computing, actually trying to capture consciousness at our level. And I know a lot of people have had experiences where they're interfacing with computers, right? And you're thinking, how does that computer know what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling, right? And I can just, from a logical, non-esoteric perspective, can tell you that it's like the biometrics, right? Our computers and our phones and everything has it's a biometric to sign in. I mean, that's probably why. So, of course, they can read the brain waves and all of this. And anyway, I could really go into deep, sort of heady here, and I don't want to lose everybody, but this is very real. This is what scientists do. They, neurologists and, scientists do this. And I've been to many meditation retreats where they're studying that from that perspective as well, from, like your brain waves, theta waves, and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, hopefully that sort of blended that all together. But anyway, just wanted to throw that in there because it just amazes me when I listen to this. This is the first time I've spoken on a group, and I'm just blown away. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I totally resonate with what everybody is saying here. So anyway, that's it, guys. And if you want to, volunteer for my study, then let me know.
Absolutely. Where can I send the information?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm
Send me
down
your
100%.
so and really and here's the thing. Okay, so just to sort of throw this caveat out there, like really intense XRP people, like people who are like in it, and it's like their energy and it's their, the host. I don't know what you want me to call you, Rabbit. Anyway, what you were saying, how you had this vision and like you knew this was going to happen for you, and then all of a sudden it came up for you. I'm like, those are the ones right there, because it's going to be that whole energetic. It's going to be in your chart. So you can just send me a DM. Just send me a message on my Twitter with your full birthday. So I need to have your full birthday and what time you were born and the city that you're born. And let me just see if I can, in my geek little way about me, if I can. I've already found some stuff, but I'd like to have a bigger sample to see if I can just cross correlate some sort of like timing or something. I don't know. It'll come to me. But that was just sort of one of my thought processes here. And just, I mean, like 2 days ago, I had this thought. Okay. So that's it, guys. Thank you again. Just wanted to throw that out there again. Thanks. Bye.
I'd love to add on to that, and to add to what Fight Rabbit said about Pool possibly being AI. So Mr. Pool posted a picture of, on October 4th, 2021, a picture of a sun that's by like a Parthenon type structure, and it looks like a smiley face. And I had posted that exact same picture in July of 2014 on my personal Instagram page that has no link to my Kang Space page on Instagram, or I only started this Twitter last year, but I had been on and been suspended, of course, because of what I was talking about. So, but yeah, so that moment in time completely, I mean, it floored me. I had chills. I was shook. I was literally in awe, and I was like, how in the fuck did Mr. Poole post that exact same photo that I had posted? Like, yeah, I'm set that these people have us marked, whether it is a physical person or it is an AI entity or some type of machine learning that has traced us down. I mean, our phones see us and listen to us. I mean, it's a fact that you could say like orange juice, like I want orange juice, or just talk about something, and then you'll get ads in your feed about Tropicana or something like in the next 2 hours. Like, oh yeah, they're watching us and they hear it, and that it is kind of ridiculous. Like, even, yeah, I've had stuff where I'll just think about things and I'm getting an ad for it, and it's like, what in the fuck is happening right now? So yeah, it's like, who owns the technology? What is it being used for? Is it being used for good? Right now it seems like they're just trying to sell us shit, but that there's data on everyone everywhere. I mean, that's what Edward Snowden basically whistle blew about. Your phones are watching us, everything's here, they hear everything you say. Yeah, they have you biometrically marked. But that alone, with Mr. Poole, when he posted that, I was completely blown away, and I was just like, to me that was like, I'm on the right path, following this, decoding stuff, looking at it critically, and it gives me the time in my mind to be like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I'm trying to just help people and shed some light on a lot of confusion, because yeah, it's very confusing to look at a lot of these posts, especially Mr. Poole, who seems vague. If you're a newbie and you just look and you're like, oh, it's just random photos, nothing's ever happened. And it's like, for instance, another thing, not to just rant here, I'll let somebody else speak in a second, but if Mr. Poole posts something, I have a nice archive on my Instagram, so I can go back and find previous posts that Mr. Poole has posted. So I'll look back and I'll be like, okay, what's the date? What day did he post that? Are we in the loop here? Does history repeat? Right? So I think that pool is also giving us market signals at times, and that's kind of been 50-50. Sometimes it's not right at all, but sometimes it's completely 100% spot on, and we'll see the exact same correlation happen back in time, and I'll just go look at the charts and see what's happening. And not to give anyone financial advice, but that's my little schizo thing that I like to do. But yeah, Yogini, they're watching us, and we're all here for a reason. Definitely believe that we're all meant to see this and see this happen together. And yeah, we can do great things, but I would say be wary when you see the price move up, because there will be opportunities that we will not need to sell, and we could just stake forever. And that is the true definition of generational wealth, that you could pass on forever and ever. You keep your keys safe and you pass them down to your family, and we can build this new world. And it's basically taking the stranglehold from the banks and the fiat money system away from these select families that probably haven't had our best interests in mind. People aren't going to want to go start wars and kill innocent people and bomb people that are dissenters, right, to their ideology. And I think a majority of us people here are looking for a peaceful solution to how we can all get on with making the world a better place. And I think that's been the new goal for this for the new financial system. Okay, I'm done.
Oh wow, there's so much to unpack with what you just said as well. Yogini, first of all, yeah, blow my mind with that. I completely imagine it's all in the charts. I think I felt it since I was about 18, since I watched Yogini at The Matrix. I literally, even at that age, I didn't wake up after it, but even at that age, I just felt something. I looked around at people and just thought, does anybody else here actually exist? I literally had these really deep thoughts at such a young age, and now it just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. But yeah, my wife and I have always had some incredibly since being awake, maybe before, but when you're observing observing the world, it seems to start observing you back, and that's the part of the quantum physics that my wife's a lot more into than I. She's a big science geek too, and she tells me about observation. And since we've started observing, my God, there were some weird things. And you're talking about like the AI thing. There was this show I used to watch called Person of Interest. And it was all about this super AI computer that could predict crime before it happened. Maybe you've seen this or not. And it would be able to make phone calls to people, and pretend, using clips of their voice to send a message to them, to say something is going to happen, or to just mimic something, send a warning, who knows what. And we literally had that happen to us. Her boss called one day, and the phone was all crackly, and I could hear that it was crackling. Something in the air just didn't seem right, and I thought, well, this is weird. And her boss said something to her that you would never say. And the show, and he sort of, like, the connection hung up, and she called him back and said, "No, I didn't call you. What are you talking about?" But on that message, he'd said, "Everything will be okay," and it's just completely out of context, and it was just blew our minds. Right, we were within 6 months of awake. The car alarm had gone off one night, just randomly on a blood moon, and my wife was really energized. Another night, I was following the blackout narrative, the lights out narrative that we've seen so much of. Well, you may or may not have, but I followed it. We were watching a movie, watching something. The lights went out in the movie, and I said, lights out. And the moment I said out, the entire power in our house, maybe a street, we couldn't really see, it all went out. Literally on the moment I said out. And it just blew, like, these things just keep happening, just real schizo things that keep blowing my mind. And I think, is someone listening to me, or is that divine, timing? Wow. So, yeah, something special is in this world, and you just need to tap into it. And sorry for that rant. I just thought I'd share that at that current moment.
I just want to throw back in here. My God, I'm getting so fired up listening to everybody that I practice Kundalini meditation. So here's another thing I can share with everyone, and take it or leave it or whatever. Not again, I don't want to blow everybody away, but absolutely 100%. When you raise your Kundalini energy through to your Panal, which opens up the DMT that's naturally there. We are a transmitter and a receiver of information. So we literally move into different dimensional awarenesses. So when you hear about people taking ayahuasca or mushrooms, or some people smoke, marijuana, or, things like that, to have these alternate type of states of being or awarenesses, that's internally within our body human mechanics. So a lot of people are not aware of this. They have no idea what it is, unless you sort of practice or study that Eastern philosophy, which I have done for many years. So and until you have the experience, it just seems so far away, or so esoteric, or so just like not grasping. So when the yogis talk about cities are the power, natural, air quotes here, natural powers that are organic or inherent to our human mechanics, our human body. And just activating those, activating that within your body. Right. Here's another thing I'll throw in: the junk DNA. Right. We know, all I've heard that 3% of our DNA supposedly, factually, has not been coded. Okay, that they've told us, that we know of. So only 3%, 3% has been coded. 97% has not been coded. That 97% is labeled junk DNA, but they've, rephrased that now. It's uncoded. So I don't know what the heck is all that for, right? So when you add energy or power to any system, here we go with systems again. So our body is a system, and when you add power or more information to that system, it evolves into a newer, higher system. That's our bodies, right? So anyway, it's I guess what I'm just trying to convey, that this is normal and it's not weird. And a lot of religions have really chastised folks into thinking that it's like bad and evil and negative, and all this kind of thing, which I think was done on purpose to keep people at a lower, so that they're controllable. So I sort of prescribe to that. I'm not trying to, I don't want to offend anybody, right? If that's offensive, I apologize. But there's just truth mixed with all of this. So there's lies and truth, that not, it's not like, oh, this is evil and oh, this is good. It's all sort of blended, and then you find your own way. But just from my experiences, that it's natural. I mean, I have psychic, I have psychic things that happen all the time. I mean, I wouldn't be such a, I've been in so many situations where, I mean, I literally get downloads. So, and I'm talking like at work, when I have to create something, or I'm trying to figure out some sort of whatever, it comes to me, and it's truth, like, a lot of scientists, a lot of it comes from the ethers. That's exactly where it comes from. So,
I'm with you. I'm with you, dude. 100%. Like Mr. Poole will
dude,
post, and
is it,
I'll know right away what he's trying to. It sounds schizo and absolutely
no, it's not.
ridiculous, but I get a download, and I'm like, oh, I need to look here. I need to look at this. This is what he's referencing, and
Yeah.
I completely resonate with what you're saying. So you're not crazy at all. There are tons of other people
It's,
that completely think this.
and here's the
Yes, me
thing,
too.
that I think this is our soul group. So when we talk about people in a higher mind. I had this other contemplation not too long, because I look at everybody's charts, and I've got a really good chart, and people I meet or find, they match me, right? So I resonate. It's just like, it attracts energy. We attract each other. And it occurred to me that, all of this sort of horridness that we've heard about some of these elite groups, and I mean, it's horrifying, right? I know I'm not the only one who's heard this stuff. And and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. We literally are the blessed people, because we didn't have to go through that. We didn't have to live through that. Like, I can't imagine some of the stuff I've heard. I can't imagine if even 1% of it's true. I can't imagine. Okay.
Mm.
So that sort of hit me as sort of a big, like, in my, slap in the face. Like, whoa, whoa. We are the more evolved, I should say. And we were spared. So when I hear these, when I hear you guys talking, you're just so, I'm like, oh my God, this is so wild. Like, hey, we're chosen, or we're, all this kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, that from not only from a spiritual, esoteric or spiritual perspective, but also, I mean, I can share without sharing so much. I mean, I have firsthand experience. I mean, I've worked heavily in R&D, government, corporation. I know where things are at. And then, without sounding like a complete fruitcake, okay, which I keep it to myself, but no, I have experience. I have firsthand knowing of a lot of things, or just second, or arm's length, right? So who's the one who was talking about the computer that can track you and all this other? Do I think that's already in play and has been in play, and maybe it's operating off somewhere or being started out? Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. Do I think it's possible? Yes, absolutely. Because when I think about, you know, the tech that I've worked in, Blue Origin, I don't know if a lot of you've heard of Blue Origin, but I mean, I was working with these companies, all these companies I'm sure you've heard of. I mean, this was like years ago, not to give out, age myself so much, but I'm talking like the begin, like, 2010 ish. So it's almost like you look back, and then it all starts sort of coming into fruition, and hindsight is 2020, and you're like, oh, that's what all that was, right? So yeah, I'm blown away. I know I'm like totally consuming this, and we've got so many people here, and I'm like, I know that we three are not the only ones who are like having this little symbiotic moment here, that there's something to this, right? So I'd love to hear from other people. I mean, I would love to hear their experiences with this.
The future
Yeah.
will prove the past. 100%. And Mr. Poole told us that word for word.
Yeah. And that leads into, I mean, it's about the downloads. I get a lot of those. Do you get the ear ringing? I've had warnings before. Like, I was putting up a picture, walked away, my ear started ringing, and I was
I
like, "Whoa, I better get back to that picture." And I did, and I caught it literally as it dropped. it's
I listen. I don't know if you guys know about Kundalini, but I've had full blown, like, out of body. I mean, a full blown Kundalini, a total vibration. So, all I would encourage everyone is just to go investigate it, and investigate and for yourself, right? Until you have those experiences, you won't be you'll just be blown away, because it's just there. It's like a whole different world, right? Once we move into those higher dimensional awarenesses. So, operating at 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D. I mean, that's real. This is real. It's real. So, yeah, no, absolutely. I have the awareness, and then I get pulled in, and just paying attention to it, to pay attention. But listen, I'll talk about, like, I'll have the thought of something, and then I get phone calls, or at one point, because I'm a consultant, and I'm pretty well out there, as far as like what I do. and hence the reason I kind of hide. I hide them. I'm like, oh my God, I hide because it's like I'm a double person. You know, I have a hide. I do this over here and then I hide, right? Because I just do. Okay, and yeah, no, I'm getting phone calls, and I know what's going to happen because I'm getting phone calls to do work. Like, hey, Melissa. Oops, that's what I just said my name. Anyway, hey, come over here. You know, we need you to do this or this or this because I'm pretty specialized in a lot of what I do. I know. Sorry, I just said my first name. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up. But I'm so excited that I feel like I've met some people who, I mean, like we're on the same page here, and there's definitely something to this soul group thing. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to shut up. I am not going to say anything else. But thank you for letting me share.
But it's like this. It's like, the whole initiation, scanning, looking for new people. We're a group of people that can trust ourselves, and we know our brains, and we trust our own minds, right, to make decisions. We're not looking for an external source to make a decision. I'm going to assume most people, didn't get the shot here. Most people rejected COVID, understood that it's a sham. Lockdowns, all of it's a control, and we've stepped outside of that box. That small percentage, and now we're even that smaller percentage of people that understand that what these new financial technologies are going to represent in this new cycle, right? So again, it's another initiation, it's another test. We'll always be tested, but I think this was definitely a huge part of finding the right people to invest into this, and we needed to be that test group. So yes, it was divine, I think. Yes, it was a control at the same time. But what is reality? Are we in a simulation? Most likely. Um, and how can we make that a better place? It's up to us now. If this is really true, these insane numbers that are being spewed out, and what it's built to do, this is meant to happen, and we were tested and initiated into this for the right reasons. So I'm with you 100%.
And I don't know. Can I say something or is it?
Yeah, Jay, go for it.
Oh yeah, I think it's Yo Galenia. I'm sorry if I'm chopping up her name, but it just when I'm listening to her, it sends me goosebumps because she is totally correct. Like it's like everybody. Well, I can't speak for everybody in this room, but from what I've heard from y'all, I'm on the same timeline. And what I've seen, I like getting into crypto. I got into crypto this year, say around March or April. And then I started with, crypto.com, Crow, blah, blah, blah. And then I always said it's something more. I kept diving into it. And then I eventually landed on a channel and a YouTube channel, and I found out about, XRP, XLM, blah, blah, blah. And everything just started clicking. And then, fast forward, where I'm at today, I'd be in all the back channels, listening to everybody in the XRP community. And I will dare to say that of all the back channels I go to, all the YouTube channels, not the mainstream ones, but the ones that really talk about good information, the XRP community, I would dare to say I listen to a lot of people, seriously, especially the ones who's hardcore XRP in this. I was there to say about either 85 to 90% of the true core hardcore XRP people who, like you said, chosen, we on the same sentiment. And and even like, and this is what I've noticed. I've seen people from all different religions, backgrounds, creed and colors, black, white, you name it, Muslims to whatever. But it's like, sometimes when we have debates on certain things, like we'll say, "Oh, you a Christian, or you a Muslim, or you believe in these tarot cards or whatever." But in the XRP community, it's like the ones that are chosen. We put that all to a side, and we're trying to get to this one goal. And most of the goal that I'm seeing from even myself is trying to help people. It's like we push all that to the side of what we believe in as far as religious beliefs, and we're just like, look, once the wealth comes, I just want to help people, and I've been seeing that, and it's just so funny to me, um, just listening to y'all because it's like I don't care about black, white, I don't care about none of that. I just want to give back and help people, and I heard that in other channels. You have been chosen for this. You have been chosen for this, and I'm just like, what in the world? Like it really do feel like because it's like I feel like I have the same the lady I think the lady was saying about the soul, like we all connected somehow. But I feel like we're on the same sentiment. Like it's just weird. It's so crazy to me. It is really, really crazy to me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure, and that same thing. I didn't take the shot. My whole family hasn't taken the shot either. I saw what was coming. I was like, nah, I'm good on that. I'm so good on that. I didn't take the shot. I knew what was going on, and it's funny because I noticed too in this community, um, when I found out about XRP, and I knew when I realized what it was, I was trying to share it with everybody, all my friends, my close family members, and just like, look, you need to get in this. You need to get, and I know most of the probably people in this space um, have the same thing going on. Nah, I'm good. I'm all right. A lot of people just turned your back on you, like, I don't care. I don't want to get into the XRP stuff. You told them, look, it's only 30 cents. It's only 40 cents. Just buy $50 worth. You had a lot of your friends and family. Some people got in. It's like, I believe in what you say. I'll do it. And you have a lot of people just don't want to hear you out. But you still know at the end of the day, when you make it, you might not help them like right then and there because they didn't listen to you, but you'll help them in without where it won't hurt you, you know. But I don't know. I believe everybody in this community, listening to a lot of people in this community, we have the same sentiment. Like it's just it's crazy to me. Like it is real crazy to me. But yeah, that's my 2 cents.
And this
Yeah.
is oh
Uh, I just wanted to say, like, after being in this community for, I guess it's like almost 2 years now, going on 3, which is pretty crazy. Like, everyone has a similar story. Most people, didn't take the vaccine and went through the being called a crazy conspiracy theorist and, trying to convince their friends and family that XRP is the chosen one, and kind of just like, again, going through this initiation process. And, it's just wild that we're all on this journey. And I kind of think that this Riddler thing is multifaceted and maybe has 2 sides to it. One being like the Moon Boy story where XRP is just gonna like moon overnight to, $100,000 or something. And then, the more esoteric Riddler side. And I kind of feel like they converge in a certain way, but also they're opposites. And I do feel like long term it's going to be a test to see who is holding for the right reasons and who is holding just for the quick sellout and the greed portion, since that's kind of the topic of this podcast, or this space. And I just think it's really interesting how we're all here, and the people who have spoken are sharing similar journeys, and we're all kind of a big mirror of each other. It's pretty fascinating.
and it is fascinating, isn't it? There's so many of us on this awakened journey that we've all fallen down this particular asset, and it's. I mean, and I know it's a big echo chamber of Twitter. You certainly find. I think the algorithm actually helps us find each other, but it is quite incredible. There's just so many awoken people here, like with just the similar mindset. I've been in several discords now, one very sort of matrixy-fied where people are looking into sort of signals from the elite and things like that. Another group, similar, and it's just everyone's vibe is the same. They're just totally aware. You don't even need that awkward introduction. Are you vaccinated? Are you aware? This doesn't even need it. It's just like a, yeah, you know who you're speaking to before you're already doing it. It's just incredible. And you know, even people that have gone down the medical route and then have woken up, you know, they're down a similar journey, and whether it has any long-lasting effects, they'll, you know, hopefully not. But I'm some strong subscriber of it was part of your plan anyway. So if there is anyone here that has had that and you feel a little bit aggrieved, don't worry. It was it was part of your journey to have it, to learn it, maybe recover if you've had any issues from it, and you'll be completely unaffected. You know, don't let that get you down. And there is just it's just amazing. As long as you found your way onto this journey, then you're fine. You're gonna make it. You know, and there's good things that are to come.
Yeah, and then also too, when I started looking through, some of the YouTube channels, Crypto Bearable, Decoder, I listened to him, and because I was just wanted to know more and more and more, and he showed a movie, Back to the Future, and I was just like, I don't know about this. But as soon as I watched what he was showing about, 8 bar and it has XRP in it, like my eyes, like the downloading part you're talking about, everything. Like when I watch movies now, it's like I see nothing but X's, I see XRP, I see all types of the signs and symbols in a lot of these movies. It's ridiculous. But I was gonna do something, put out a video on YouTube, but I was just like, I was debating on it because I was just like, I don't want a target on my back because I felt like, you know, it's like I put this information out there and people are gonna come at me like, oh, you're crazy, you're this, you're that, and blah 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 blah. But it is a lot of information that I've seen, and maybe I can post it to y'all one day or something like that. And Back to the Future, that I mean, uh, crypto, bearable bull, bully bear, the coder, he posted some stuff that I've seen, but it's some stuff that I found in there, like they have XRP, especially when Doc fell off he was on the toilet, he fell off the toilet and hit his head. He made this piece of paper, and if you decode it, you'll see XRP in it. Also, the shirt he was wearing has XRP in it. A lot of I looked all over the internet. Nobody has found it. I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I found it, and I was just so like afraid of like posting a lot of this stuff. And I'm like, yo, it's all in that movie. They was trying to tell us, and that movie was made back in 1980. It's like, yo, this is just too crazy to me. So, but yeah, you look in Back to the Future Part One and Part Two. There's so much information about what's coming up now about the stock market going to shit because when what you call it, Michael J. Fox was on his little skateboard, he ran into a pile of dung. It said D. Jones manure, and and the manure fell out the truck, but it means the Dow Jones going to shit. So it's a lot of stuff in that movie. I'm telling you, if you ever have time, watch the movie Back to the Future Part 3 has some stuff in there, but the 1 and 2 has so much information about what's going on today. And he even talks about 9/11 in that movie as well. But it's a lot of information. I haven't. I did a whole video on it. I actually got it saved. I was just so like skeptical of uploading it because I didn't want to have a target on my back. Because I was like, I don't know if I want to put that information out. I'm just like, So, but yeah, that's just giving y'all some little.
Yeah, dude, I think loads of us probably or can completely relate. But Crypto Bully Bear, he's great. I love his attitude, and I love his vision. If you want to see another channel that does a lot of predictive programming, it's called. I'll just wait for it to load. But there, I tell you what, I'm watching TVs, films, shows on Netflix, films, and at the minute, literally every show, every kids show I watch with my kids, There are people falling into, like, there's a literal liquidity crisis event in this film. Literally everyone I watch, and they're either falling into pools of liquidity. There's pools of liquidity flying and they're crashing everywhere. And then I can't count on one hand how many times I've heard the phrase "flip the switch." It's it must be close because it's just constant at the minute with the programming. And going back to the Future, yeah, 9/11 was in there and everything. And you just think, how, going back to the AI and maybe the Looking Glass element, how the heck are they coding all of that into films from the 1980s? You know, you've got, I think even someone was talking to me about Doctor Who the other day, and other things. There's just tons. Old Country for Old Men, that predicts Bitcoin as well. It's just insane. And when you have awareness, Jay, it is not limited to just one thing. It's literally in everything. And that's the beauty of this awakening enlightenment, is that we can see, and you can get stock tips, everything from these things. And I don't know what it is. It's like this, whether the chosen ones are the lucky ones to see this and be able to predict the future based on these films, or whether it is just like insider trading. This is how the elite communicate with each other, through film and TV, and this is how the perpetual balance of their existence is contained through all of these signs and signals. But it's mind-blowing all the time. The account very quickly, it's called LXXXV111 Finis Temporis, and it really breaks down films in a very clever way.
I think you're onto something with the insider trading and with the elite possibly communicating these signals through films and stuff. You know, like the original language of the world was symbols, and a few of us have experienced like Archie posting certain photos and then a crypto that kind of mirrors that image will blast off the next day.
Stronghold did it.
Stronghold, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do feel like if you're looking out for these signals, I don't know, they might be out there. It's kind of strange.
It's definitely like how. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to share this one little more crazy little tidbit for you guys. So, just to sort of put the logic, or sort of go back around to this looking glass, in the 90s through I think 2000, here in the United States, our armed forces are broken down into different branches and different command bases. So, one of the it used to be called Strategic Command. Let's see if I give all this, it tells where I'm at. But so it's tied into sort of North American Command. But in the 90s, 2000, the main operation for that command was Operation Looking Glass. Okay, so and I've been to these places, and you know, murals of Alice and the rabbit and the all of the sort of that iconography is all over it. So I just want to throw that out there, that there's definitely with the movies, and we're talking about the movies, and how do they know about all this, and so it's definitely they're symbiotic. There's definitely a cross correlation, and there's things that are from a technological perspective are there that would probably blow us all away. And just the minuscule of information that I know, which is, trust me, it's not anything super mind blowing, but yeah, just from just having that connection in that I've had, it's I have no doubt. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Let just another little thing to add to this conversation.
Dude, that's awesome. And it's like, these people, they believe that they'll escape their karmic debt if they tell us what they're doing before they do it. whether it's benevolent or not. They're going to escape their karmic debt if they tell us. So it's like people could look at that and be like, oh yeah, well, we told you that XRP was going fucking to 5 digits, and we told you for years, you know, like they that could be the other purpose for the Riddlers. Whereas, you know, people could argue a million ways to Sunday about if these people are good or not, and you know, at this point, it's like that's trivial. That's kind of irrelevant when you look at the big picture of things. And you know, I know a lot of people have looked at it and they're like, oh my God, this technology is going to be used to enslave us. And it's like, who's to say that? Yeah, it was originally created to enslave us, but you know, good people within the military had commandeered it and are now giving us the opportunity to buy it, to be part of it, right? Maybe we were really all supposed to get the jab, to get the digital ID, to get the CBDC, to be enslaved completely, and then to be monitored, right? And it's like, you know, that could be the other downfall, right, to this whole situation. But are we going to be the ones that break free and don't allow that to happen? Like, I think it's a good possibility, right? But the whole predictive programming thing is just fucking insane when you look at it.
I just want to add something else. I feel like I'm giving a download here. Please, people don't. I hope nobody gets offended by this. But here's another perspective. So I mean, it is predictive programming, but there's a lot of science, neurological science done on the way that our brain, the way that we operate. So a lot of you guys have heard how, you know, super athletes or artists, or, you know, anytime you're doing something, it's always a mental visualization first, right? They go through their mind, they do it first in their mind over and over and over, repetitively over and over. So therefore, when it's in real life, like, you know, like athletes, right? Then it becomes just, you know, it's like second nature. So it's already there. So in my opinion, the predictive program is more of the sense, because your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain doesn't know the difference of looking like I'm looking at my, you know, lamp here, or if I look on the screen and I see a lamp in a movie, if I'm watching violence in a movie, your brain doesn't know the difference, doesn't know that, oh, one is real, what's real, right? Inception, the movie Inception, I would highly encourage that movie. So we don't, it's like it doesn't know the difference. So and then of course this feeds back into sort the, you know, Carl Jung and the whole, you know, science and all this stuff. If you guys are familiar with that, the psychology of basically brainwashing folks or mind control. That, I mean, that's what that is. So if they repeat it over and over and over again, if you're watching it over and over and over again, your energy, your subconscious will find a way to manifest that. So that's what I think is going on. So all of these movies, this dystopian and all these, which I watch some, but I really don't watch, because if it has like a lower, like if I don't feel good when I watch it, or it makes me feel bad or feel, you know, sad or fear or just not feel good, I don't watch it. I don't watch that, because why would I? Right? You don't want to manifest that. So a part of me thinks that, you know, like the one woman was saying that, hey, you know, this is twofold, that they're throwing this at us. Yeah, because we're trying to manifest it. So it's like we're dealing with these higher, I don't know, there's something higher here, higher, you know, spiritual, but then it comes down to sort of the mundane, you know, like how we're speaking right now. So whenever I hear everybody talk about predictive programming, I just always want to throw that out there. I'm like, guys, it's called this is how they mind control. This is how this is done. So, I mean, who's the one who said tell a lie over and over again? It's truth, because it's really what it does. I mean, if you want to do or succeed in anything in your life, just fake it till you make it, or just hold yourself in that space. I promise you 100% it will happen for you. That's just how you do it. That's you know, success secrets. If you listen to people who are successful, um, I mean, they're going to give you these lists, you know, very logical things, right? But it comes back to that, where you're holding a vision, right? You're holding that vision of visualization, and you just keep doing it over and over and over, and then you take steps and actions, and then it starts. So if you're feeding that to someone else, a collective psyche who's watching movies, we're all watching the same movies, on and on and on, then you've got all that power from all those different people who are subconsciously going to, sort of in this herd, mentality, herd consciousness, are going to drive to make that happen. So, okay, that's it. I know I say I'm going to shut up, but I have so much I have to say when I hear stuff. Okay, that's it.
No, I mean, you're wonderful, an absolute wonderful voice, and I appreciate you massively. I think everybody here will appreciate you. And that little bit that you mentioned about predictive programming, about being mind control, I think it is for the majority of the population. But my wife and I, we watch things now, and we recently watched Phenomenon, and the baseball one, Field of Dreams, and many others. But there is actually so much beauty to be taken from them as well. It's not just about programming, if because they give you the life nuggets, the truth about the world. And if you extract that lovely part of it, the good message they're giving you in terms of the hidden one, the one they don't give to everyone, only the ones that are aware and illuminated enough to see it, to understand it, the true meaning. And we're just blown away by some of we think, just wow, all right, yeah, maybe it's still a form of programming, but this is the real message hidden within is just incredible sometimes. Blessed. Be blessed.
Hey, thank you for allowing me to speak. I just want to add on to what Yogini was saying. I don't know if any of you guys knew this, but Michael Phelps, super big time swimmer, won a bunch of gold medals. He would, before he'd swim, whatever you want to call it, he would memorize the time on a piece of paper and get within milliseconds of the time that he was shooting for. I also listen or watch a lot of parkour athletes. Parkour is basically just like extreme physical things with your body. And like while they have this like unique ability to move their body amongst the environment, a lot of it is like a mental game. So I just want to add on that like it totally is like in the Kybalion, which is like a 7 Hermetic Principles. If you guys haven't looked into that, it's a super good read. The first rule is the universe is mind, all is mental, basically saying that like everything emanates from the mind. And then to the predictive programming part, like I totally agree. I hate dystopian movies just because like I feel like when you're absorbing something like that, you're basically putting energy towards that. And like a long time ago when I was looking into all these like conspiracy theories, I like stopped getting so into them because I didn't want to put that negative energy or my energy into something that's negative, basically like spurring that to become a reality. So why I brought that up is because there's this great movie. I wish everybody could see it. It's called Tomorrowland. It is by Disney, but it is a looking glass predictive programming, basically like a utopian reality movie. Super duper good. It's all about like I don't know if you guys have heard the story of the two wolves inside you. Like there's a good wolf and a bad wolf, and whichever wolf you feed is the one that's gonna like prevail. Super duper good. And then the last thing I just want to throw in there, this is kind of just like woo woo, and I'm just gonna say it just because it's on my mind. What if we already went down the path of dictatorship and full control and the mark of the beast, whatever you want to call that stuff that's happening, and like super duper pervasive AI and I don't know if you guys are like into timeline mechanics at all or like believe that we're in like a multi-dimensional reality where I don't know how to explain that any better, but what if we came back to this moment in time to change that, to change our path of and course of humanity to explore a new path, Thanks for letting
Wow.
me talk.
Oh
Dude,
wow.
okay, I want to tap onto that. I always had the thought, like recently, even probably like past couple of years, I was always like, what if this is all there is? Like there is no heaven, there is no hell. This is all there is, right? It's all now, right? And so I'm with you, man. Like I definitely think that uh, a lot of these things that are happening, it's like, man, I've seen this before. Like I know what's happening, and like I know what's going to happen next, kind of. And it seems schizo and ridiculous and crazy, but man, we gotta just believe ourselves and believe our mind. And you know, I highly recommend people go listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza and how he, and actually Aaron Doughty. I listened to him probably like 4 years ago, and he was like, how you make something happen? You feel it in your body first. So you like already, like, say you want something super bad, right? You need something to happen. You imagine that you already have this thing. And what is that emotional response going to be in your body? Not just in your brain, but in your whole being, right? What does it feel like to have that thing? And you constantly, over and over, you repeat it. Practice makes permanent. Practice does not make perfect, because no one is perfect, but practice makes permanent. So if you keep repeating these things to yourself, this positive self-talk, these things will happen to you, and they will manifest in your life. With when you drive the emotion in your body, in your brain, to have that feeling, that what is it like to feel like you have this $50,000 XRP? What is it going to feel like to have that new career, to have that love of your life, to have these to help people, right? To create new educational systems, all these things that we have planned. It's like, what is it going to feel like? That's what we need to practice and to put into reality. Okay, because yeah, like you said, Yogini, the mind doesn't know. The universe, it doesn't have it. I say this, like, don't be sarcastic when you're like, oh, I'm not good at this, or I'm not any good, or this or that. The universe doesn't know any better, and it's going to give you exactly what you think, right? So I say, everyone, be careful with your self-talk and your self-thoughts, because the universe does not know the difference to you just thinking it and you physically doing it or speaking it. And that's very important. I think everyone understands that. So just wanted to add that. They're blessed. Thanks for that, dude.
I listen, I have all of those meditation retreats that I've gone to. I've gone to quite a few, have been with Dr. Joe Dispenza. So I would highly
That's
encourage.
awesome.
It
Yeah.
is awesome. And I came back from one in August, and I would encourage everyone to, I just don't like throwing stuff out there, but since you did, and I'm talking about all this, but no, I've studied with him for quite some time and have been a part of his experiments and all of the science that he's doing. And, I've been in those rooms. I can tell you, I've been in those rooms with, 1,000 people, and we're shut down, and everybody's got their Kundalini, raising that Kundalini, and it is powerful stuff. Once you experience that, you're not going back. You are not going back. And people heal themselves. Okay. And I know these people, I've met them. This is real. I mean, your body, once it, enough energy is added to the system, your body, then it resets. The body resets into this higher expression. So I know a lot of people who have healed themselves, and I'm talking miraculously, in those rooms, people who have gotten up out of wheelchairs and walked. Okay, I'm talking crazy stuff. A guy who could see, he was blind and he could see. Okay, and you're like, wait a minute,
But
I was like,
this is like what Jesus, the
it's
teachings of Jesus.
exactly, it's
Okay, so it's like
exactly what it is.
you
So
you
yeah,
the
no,
whole,
yeah.
like, Jesus, sending your energy, your Kundalini energy up your spine. How
Mm-hmm,
many vertebrae do you have? 33. Jesus was
mm-hmm,
33 when he passed, right? What
mm-hmm,
is the seat of the soul? Is the pineal. So this is
mm-hmm,
all and this is what the Masonic teachings are all about. This is what the Kabbalah is all about, Kabbalion, and this is what I feel like is so important for people to understand, that there are many facets to these secret societies that people look at as being very negative and being harmful. But man, there are some insane correlations to all religions that stem from teachings like that, and how, yeah, you can see again, you can heal yourself. It is very possible. Super fucking cool.
And I'll add to that. I literally shared yesterday a very similar thing about water and all the studies. I forget the doctor's name, but I mean, you can.
Masaru Emoto. Dr.
Yeah,
Emoto,
Emoto.
Dr.
that's
Do
it.
you know
Emoto.
about him?
Yeah.
Oh, incredible! And I
Oh,
studied,
yeah.
looked at that for a while anyway. Through, funnily enough, I don't know if I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but I was researching flat Earth theories and those kind of stuff, and all of the frequency of water and frequency of light all came up in that, and it sent me down that rabbit hole, and that it's just mind blowing. You know, the frequency is so powerful, and you can just talk to water and you can completely change its construct. It's
Water has
incredible.
memory. Water has
Yeah.
memory. And they say that, the ancient cultures, especially the Native American cultures, they would specifically drink the water from the mouth that has passed through many miles of land, right? They would not drink from the spring that comes out of the mountain. They would drink right at the um, right near when it goes into another bigger body of water, because they realized that the water was more pure, and there's probably some subliminal uh, connotations there, but where they felt like, yeah, it maybe tasted better, but they understood that the water passed through, gathering all of this etheric energy through the world, right? And it gathered all of this information of the world as it passed through the river, passing miles and miles and miles. So it had more of this grounding feeling when you drank from the mouth of the river and not the actual spring. I just thought that was super interesting. But yeah, the fact that you can influence water with just standing around it, and having people just focusing on this jar, saying positive things to the water, and how then they freeze it and then look at it under a microscope, and then it's changed to the fourth phase. I mean, that's absolutely mind blowing that is possible, and that should be taught in every school around the world, in my opinion.
Oh, oh wow, this is crazy because I mean, I was just about to say water and then Rabbit, you took over, but yeah, I also the whole water thing, I definitely agree. I was going to mention that as well. And it's wow, I didn't even know we all on the same level. But anyway, like for me, even I noticed to like I don't know if you ever had brain fog, but I start noticing what you put in your system. So like has a really big deal on it. So let's just give an example. Say if you just eating Doritos and Snickers every day, that's your diet. You're not eating nothing else. If you just eat some Snickers, Doritos, and drinking Sprite every single day, I guarantee your body is not gonna it's not gonna do well. It's just you're putting a lot of crap in there. I noticed that when I was younger, I was eating candy and all this stuff. But as I got older, I switched up my diet, like a lot of fruits and vegetables. I went to, and I get a lot of my stuff from the farmers market, and then I go to a health food store to get my water from alkaline machine. So I switched up my water as well. I don't drink from the faucet like that, and I've noticed a huge difference. I mean, anybody in this room, just try it. I'm not, just try it. That's all I got to say. If you having like brain fog or something going on, just try to switch up your diet. Drink. Try to get away from drinking a lot of faucet water because it has like they put a whole bunch of stuff in. faucet water. But if you try to eat as clean as possible, put it like that. I mean, and you get fresh water. I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
Oh, absolutely. I've got a reverse osmosis filter here. It cost me a good part of £900, but it sits under my sink. It purifies the water, adds some bits and bobs back in, and I couldn't be happier knowing I'm not drinking that shite. Um, but yeah, and I agree. Also, fasting. I'm a big advocate for fasting. It's so good for you. So good. 16 hours a minimum. Many times a week. Maybe not every time, every day, but yeah, so many good things you can do for your body.
So I'll add this tidbit too. I found this product called Oro Liquid Gold, and this stuff basically it's some next dimensional tech in my opinion. And the guy who created it, he found it on accident. So this developer in Japan, who also Dr. Masaru Emoto is from Japan. Funny odd coincidence, right? So he was trying to clean out koi ponds, right? Because koi ponds get pretty cloudy, and that's a big staple of Japanese culture there. And so he was trying to figure out a concoction of things to basically clean out without, having with the least amount of environmental impact, right? So he found out that this liquid, which is called Oro Liquid Gold, it will basically purify and remove contaminants from water. So you just add a couple drops in your water, and it will clear up cloudy water. It will restructure the water molecule. So, like in layman's terms, basically what happens is this solution, which is made from a rock called biotite, and I think sulfur. Uh, I don't know the specifics of it, but basically what happens is they create a miniature volcanic reaction in a laboratory, and they combine the sulfur with this crystal called biotite, which is only found on this island in Japan. And basically, it purifies water, any liquid really, purifies it, adds 70 to 102 essential bioavailable minerals. Whereas if you have like the healthiest diet in the world, I think, even if you do a keto diet, you're getting like 10 to 20 essential minerals. And minerals are what basically is the spark plug to all cells in the body, right? So you can go super, super deep into that and be like, okay, what are you putting in your body that's, replicating, and then you are what you eat. And if you have no way to cleanse out these bad particles, you're going to be in for a bad time. You're going to create disharmony, right? So what this does, the solution will unzip the water molecule. So there's things that, you were saying, Jay, about tap water, so dissolved solids, you just look at tap water and, it's clear. You don't know what's in there. You can't see it. There's no readout of what's it. You can't look at it and be like, oh, there's fluoride and chlorine and all these things in there, atrazine, whatever. Like, you don't know that. So when you put this in there, it basically unzips the water molecule, and it will make the dissolved solid visible, right? And it will harden and fall to the bottom of your container. And this process takes about like 24 to 48 hours. But I've been on this product for like 3 years, and I tell you, it's changed my life, and it's changed my mind and my body and my spirit, and it's completely transformed my brain and the way I go about life. And without sounding too crazy and ridiculous, this product has been completely suppressed. He's been the guy who was a distributor in the United States, he got targeted by big pharma, black ops. They came to his house and threatened him. And yeah, it's a thing. It's a technology that definitely they do not want out there. But it was found by accident, and yeah, it's just mind blowing how deficient we are with minerals, because they are truly the spark plug to the cell, which at the basis of life, that's what creates life, right? Are these healthy cells? So highly suggest people check that out. If you have any questions about it, please give me a DM. I'd be happy to answer anything about it. But it removes 250 contaminants in water, everything from chlorine, fluoride, to petrochemicals, to even pharmaceuticals. So you see that's a huge problem nowadays. Like, everyone's on pills and all these big pharma things, and they're peeing in their toilets, and then that's getting recycled. Well, when they basically, at the water treatment facility, they're not getting these pharmaceuticals out. So when you drink tap water, yeah, you're drinking someone else's medicine. That's all combined in this soup, and it is friggin' disgusting. So highly suggest people look into fourth phase water, restructuring of water, and Aura Liquid Gold. My little plug, but it's just changed my life, and I feel like it's my duty to tell people about it, because it could change the world. And honestly, that was the first, when we used to have roundtables, me and Zen and some of the other Kangs, we had these roundtable talks last summer, and it's like, what are we going to do when we hit 5 digits? How are you going to make an impact? What are your goals, right? And that was one of the main proponents that I wanted to take on, was basically get this product into water treatment facilities around the world, to give people this opportunity to have clean water, because that's a huge problem right now. And that's one thing that I plan on focusing on when we do Moonshot, or when we do see developments in that space. That's one of my goals, is to get this in the hands of all water treatment facilities around the world. That is my goal.
Wow, I love that. That's amazing. Thank you for letting us know about that. I did just a quick bit of Googling, and there's some other people saying exactly the same. Of course, you got the FUD as well, but any good websites? I've seen oroliquidgold.eu. I mean,
yeah, I think that's just their European distributor. There's different distributors, I think, for different parts of the world, but you can go on YouTube even, and there's a video from, I think, like the early 2000s or late 90s, and they show you this koi pond that is absolutely filthy, disgusting. You can't see any fish. You can't even see an inch into the water, and they basically are filming, and they have some aerators going, moving the water around, and within a couple hours, it completely cleans the water out, all just by adding the solution. And how I came across it, it was just me finding someone talking about it on Instagram, actually. And I was just like, well, I'm interested in water. Like, I want to see what this is all about. And man, that was a rabbit hole I never come out of. But yeah,
wow.
roliquidgold.com is like their main site. And you can go find Nissim on the Instagram. He's very helpful. He'll answer any questions. Very awakened individual, a very good friend of mine too. But yeah, this product has completely changed my life, 100%. I feel way more psychic. I feel like I don't know. I'm just so much more connected, and I've come back to source a million times over just from the first week using it. It was very noticeable for me. Tons of benefits though, and like I said, it was found by accident. They were just trying to clean out koi ponds to give cleaner water for fish, because as you move the fish out, and all the vegetation and turtles and other tadpoles and things like that, you're going to have a risk of damaging them and harming their ecosystem. So, yeah, with that being said, it's a non-invasive way to clean water. But how I do it, I have a reverse osmosis system from my tap. I clean my water that way, and then I'll add my Oro in to a container, wait about a day, and then you'll see even with reverse osmosis, which completely clears out, all good and bad. So like that's the thing. If you drink too much, you're basically drinking dead water. There is no minerals. Spring water is the best, but how many people have access to a clean spring on Earth? Not that many. So uh, things are limited in that sense. But this is a way around that, which is super interesting. But anyways, that's my rant about Oro. But yeah, what you are what you eat.
That's awesome. You know what? One thing it wanted me to that made me think about what you were saying there, how you instantly felt better, and it has been a positive step for you. Something I sort of I listen to a lot about is I'm not religious per se, but I listen to the idea of Christ consciousness and belief systems, and almost like placebos as well. Do you think perhaps there's also uh, a mental effect where you start taking positive action, like taking this Oro Gold, that it is probably doing something, no doubt, because you're feeling a lot better. But do you think there's also maybe even an element of your mind, because if the idea of Christ consciousness being within us rather than being an external man is actually in you, for you to create your future and your the responses to your thoughts and intention. Do you think there could be a little bit of that at play as well? The sheer
Oh,
fact that you're
absolutely. Absolutely, dude. And, even you can look at tons of placebo effect studies where they just give people, the medicine and then a sugar pill. And I think it's like 80, 85, 90% people had uh, the same turnout as people, or they had better turnout. They had better results. So yeah, absolutely. I think that is definitely a possibility. And, our minds are stronger than we really know, right? So if you think, oh, this is just some woo woo crap, that's not real. Like that technology can't exist. That's shit. It might not work for you at the capacity that it had worked for me. So
well,
um,
it won't work for you if you have that mindset. It won't.
exactly. So like you're saying, it's like it all comes down to what you want to believe. What do you want to see happen? Uh, that's what I want to stress. I think more so than anything is like, you know, you're not going to change anything if you can't have that right attitude coming into it. Because even a lot of people, it's like, yeah, they're healed by chemotherapy and they have stage 3 cancer, and they go through it, and uh, they're healed, and that's great. But a ton of other people are also just like, oh, there's no fucking way I'm gonna get out of this. Like, I'm bedridden, I'm fucked, I'm completely dead. They're not gonna make it. These people, and it's just all about attitude and mindset. So, but yeah, Rabbit, I think that's definitely a huge play, huge factor inside of it. But you can look at some of the technical groundwork and the studies that are through the electron microscope, and uh, they show how it changes the structure into the fourth phase. And the mineral content mainly is what it's all about. And minerals, like I said, they're the spark plug to all cells. So that's adding it. And yeah, check out Biotite, Biotite. That's the crystal that's basically formed with that. Super interesting stuff. So if people have any interest, please DM me. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. But it's changed my life, so highly recommend it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it's lovely to hear those kind of things, because testimony is probably the most reliable way, especially in our community. You know, there is a lot of duff information out there, but it's really refreshing to hear somebody say, "Yeah, do this, work for me, it's great." You know, and of course they don't always work for everyone, but yeah, mindset.
But that's
Love
what I'm
it.
saying. It's like I'm just trying to help people. Like I want to, and I know it's like the water is a huge problem. It's causing infertility. It's causing lack of testosterone. Uh, you know, even the whole Alex Jones thing, where it's like, oh yeah, atrazine turns the frogs gay. It's like
Wow, really?
that shit's in tap water, dude. Atrazine. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
and he talked about that like a decade ago, and now it's like proven that it's in there, and it literally does turn frogs to the other sex, right? So, I mean,
That's it.
is this the future that we want? Like, I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that that does not happen. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And and then
Well,
okay. Oh, I was going to recommend too. I guess when everything moons, and then you'll get some extra income coming in. I would suggest you, if people who don't have this, they have I can't even say the word, filtration system that you can put on. You might have to get a plumber to install it. But my dad, he actually showed me this when I was a young kid. I was like, what the heck is this? A plumber came in and installed like this filtration system, and it's like I don't even know what the name of it is, but once I get
yeah,
the name of it,
it's
we'll
called the
get it.
reverse osmosis filter. That's
That's what it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it like when the water comes in the filter, it yeah takes all that stuff out. You'll see the dirt and everything in it, and
Yep.
it's amazing. So when you take a shower, because one of your biggest organs is your skin. So if you take a shower, all
Yes,
that stuff
dude.
is not going to go into your system. So that's why people don't really understand that water is so important. And when people are feeling these different headaches and all this stuff, a lot of it could be that the water that's coming into your house. So it's so important to make sure your water is on par for real. Like if not, you're gonna be screwed. And in the long term effects though, in the long term effects. Or short term, if you live in uh what's that state? Detroit or something. They had what is that state in America? They had a really bad water.
Yeah, Flint,
Brown.
Michigan.
Flint, Michigan. Michigan, there it
Yeah,
is. They got really bad water. But other than that, I was just, reverse osmosis, get that system.
definitely. And it's like if you drink that too much, it's like you're still like it's better than drinking tap water, but over time, if you drink it for like years on end, you're not going to be getting the right minerals into your system because it takes everything out, good and bad. So we do need trace minerals, and I think that yeah, that's really something to look into with the reverse osmosis. I would say much healthier, absolutely, but there are alternatives that you can look at and get around it because yeah, it's the same as distilled water. If you go into a store and you have spring water in a gallon container or distilled, um, it has everything removed from it, good and bad. So just know that.
I just want to reiterate that really quickly. When you have the reverse osmosis, you're stripping out all the minerals. So if you're drinking this water with no minerals, like distilled water, it's stripping your body of the minerals that you have. So if you're not putting Ormus or whatever, there's also trace mineral drops that you can put in. It's not particularly good for you. So just make sure, reiterate that you put back in minerals after you filter the water.
Yep.
Also, a couple other good ones are Shilajit and all of the seaweeds are super duper good for you too. Um, I don't want to recommend anything specifically because there's so many seaweeds out there, but all the seaweeds are really good for you.
seaweed's lovely, thank you. I was just going to say my reverse osmosis filter. I've actually got a filter that puts the minerals back in. These guys were super awake and super aware, and this particular design has another filter that puts the minerals back in. So I'm hoping that that's doing something good. But the seaweed, you mean like dried? How would you consume it?
Yeah, I right now I make like a supplement that I like capsulate myself out of a bunch of different dried herbs and stuff and seaweed. A couple of different seaweeds are like some of the things that I put in there. I also put it like in substitute for salt. I'll put like a seaweed blend on stuff. The one that people talk about that's like super duper big right now has like 190 something minerals is oh my goodness. Oh, it's slipping my mind. 1 second, let me look it up.
And while he looks it up, I what I use to get a lot of my minerals is sea moss gel.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Sea moss. Oh, that's what you. Oh, yeah, that's what I use. Sea moss gel. I'm telling you that right there. If you take that, you're gonna be up all day. It. Oh my God, it has so many minerals. Like I think your body it needs. I forgot how many minerals your body. It has. I know it gives me at least 92 of the minerals that I need. But sea moss gel. My sister-in-law makes it. If anybody wants to DM me, I can definitely send you the link. She makes it, and she can ship it out to you. But you can also get it from the health food store as well. But yeah, sea moss gel, it is awesome.
I think it's literally 95 to 105 minerals are essential for popular cellular reproduction in the human body.
The sea moss is also like a your body needs iron to function and have like uh energy, and it's one of the few plant-based sources that has iron that's easily processed by your body.
Key is to have it bioavailable, right? So there's good uptake, and a lot of these supplements, they're not formulated to be uptaken into the system, into your bloodstream. So yeah, this is a rabbit hole in itself, and we're probably going way off tangent here, but this is down the Wabbit hole, XRP, right?
I'm just shocked that everybody's on the same. It just is amazing to me. Like, wow. I mean, you get into these spaces and you only can talk about politics and you can't talk about nothing else. But like, good gracious, we can talk about almost every damn thing because I'm sure all of y'all went through the same rabbit holes we all went through. From everything to politics to eating right to this. I went down every rabbit hole you can think of. But yeah, this is crazy to me.
And it's all related, you know what I mean? Like it's all interconnected and interwoven. Whereas you change what you put into your body, yeah, your mind's going to start thinking differently. You're going to start looking at the world differently. So you're going to have this new mindset. You're going to have this new perspective on the world just from what you're putting in your body. So it's like they are all very much connected and essential to raise your awareness and this enlightenment stage that we're all coming into. Can't stress that enough, man.
Oh God, absolutely. I'm going to add just one extra caveat, and if we want to go back to the more spiritual side of stuff, we can. But the wonderful thing that's around us constantly is free, called air. Wim Hof, absolute, the Iceman, the legend. I do so much. I do a lot of breathing exercises. And there was this one time my boy and I started coming down with food poisoning. And if you've ever had food poisoning, you get a little window of time where you feel like absolute, you're like, oh yeah, this is not good. And this one time, my boy had just started being sick, and I thought I'm just going to run outside and knock out 3 sets of Wim Hof, and I did it. And my God, the doomsday feeling of being sick disappeared, and I was able to go through the night without being sick once. It was powerful. It didn't work the second time it happened to me, but the first time it did, and so I'm satisfied that just using this beautiful resource if you haven't got Bill Gates' grey cloud above you, then yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
Can I just jump in since I've been so quiet and I don't often really speak? But I just wanted to say I'm glad that everyone's here, and how you got here doesn't matter, but as long as you're here and everyone's on the same level spiritually, awakened, I guess, same positive vibes, I applaud you all. There's a lot of familiar faces in this group I can see down below. Everyone well done. Everyone keep doing your own research and find your own truths, what you understand about this world and how it all works. But from so far, that's what's been said in this group chat. I see that you all awake and switched on, and I completely agree with pretty much everything what everyone is saying. So well done, guys.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, it's just so lovely. I was hoping tonight would be a more spiritual basis of a chat, because last night was all about the riddles and things, and this has turned out to be way better than I ever expected. So thank you to everyone who's contributed so far. We can go on, or we can call it. I don't know how long have we been talking. 3 hours, 4. If anybody wants to carry on, I'm game. I probably do need to go bed soon, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. It has been beautiful. I'm going to be saving it. I'll put it up. Anybody wants to listen again tomorrow, share it around. Be amazing.
It's funny because I don't know if you remember the guy Da Vinci who talked about getting Bitcoin back in 2013. He's like, just get it for $1. Yeah, that YouTube video. Um, it's funny because, fast forward, I kind of was trying to do the same thing to other people that I was telling to. I was like, just, XRP is only 30 something cents. You can just put $1 and get three of them. And it's hilarious because the same thing he did back in 2013, um, a lot of people didn't listen. They were just like, well, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then Bitcoin blew up. Well, we're going back to the same thing, and I know people personally that will spend $5, $10 on some coffee, no problem. It ain't like they're rich, but they got money. They can spend $10 on some XRP or $50, whatever. But they won't even do it. It's just, and it's like and then from there, when I went to this other group, it was like you're chosen. I do believe it because I'm telling some people just spend $5 and they won't even do that. And I'm telling, look, it would change your life. They don't want to do it. They don't want to listen. And I'm just like, wow, it's amazing to me. And I show them the video, the one I sent them the video the guy did back that many years ago. Just buy it for $1, you'll be a millionaire. And I said, this is your chance to get a second chance to it. They still wouldn't hear me out, and it just baffles me.
History will
Yeah.
repeat, brother. The cycles will continue. And if this truly is a simulation, we're going to see, in another 10, 20 years, the same thing happen, right? And there's going to be another opportunity somehow, and the same thing will play out, right? So it's inevitable, I guess. And we need to take
And
joy into that circumstance.
Only
absolutely.
has
And
to
you
see.
go on, buddy.
Oh, I just wanted to add only those with the eyes to see. I don't know if you guys have heard that before, but it's super, super prevalent.
Oh yeah, well, that's absolutely with any kind of awakening. The thing is with the awakening, you start off angry, and then you go through all the stages of despair and whatnot. And if you're if anyone here is still stuck in those stages, I implore you to just try and elevate as quickly as possibly through all of that confusion and anger, and just find a real neutral plane as quickly as possible where nothing affects you. There could be a hurricane outside your window and you're just going to put your feet up and eat popcorn. That kind of chilled, I encourage that massively.
Yeah, you have to realize the one thing is you as a teacher, if the student that you're trying to portray your message to is not ready to receive the message, it doesn't matter what you do as a teacher, they'll not get the message. So, look, I've been on the same path as you guys have been. I try to tell all the friends and family, all the chosen ones who can listen to me. Some did, some didn't. That's up to them. But if they are not ready to be awakened by themselves yet, doesn't matter what you do, they'll not get the message, man.
But still, and I get you, I hear you, not everyone's ready for this journey. Not everyone was chosen. But every time you tell somebody something, the first time they won't listen. The second time, they probably still won't listen. The third time is something in the human psyche. The more familiar it becomes in their mind, the more likely they are to be receptive to it. So you can say it the first time or a second time or even the third time, but maybe that little suggestion one day will do its job. And it'll come back around like a boomerang and hit them in the face from a different direction, from a different voice, from a different vehicle, but they'll get the message. And if they are meant to get that message, they'll get it.
I would 100% agree, and I would say don't lose sleep over it. Just keep doing you, and you control yourself. You control your life. It's as simple as that. So we can do what we can to spread our awareness, our knowledge, our opinions, right? Because that's all anything is an opinion, and we can give people facts to back it up for till the cows come home. And sometimes it won't matter, but like you said, Wabbit, it's like, yeah, one day they'll just be like, wow, they were right. And it's like money talks, you guys. They're gonna see that we tried to help you, and they're gonna see like, wow, okay, now you've got it all. You've got your freedom. You've got your true freedom. You've got your time back. You've got a whole new life ahead of you. That could have been me. Now they're gonna go out and try to better themselves and try to not miss the next opportunity, right? So that alone is going to speak volumes to the people that potentially didn't listen, right? So at that sense, our jobs will be completed at that point if they are ready. So just don't lose sleep, keep doing you, and that's the best advice I could give anyone.
Yeah, I agree. Lead by example. Show them what you're capable of. Follow in
Precisely.
silence and get your goals done, and then show them, and hopefully they'll follow you in the light that you're sharing to them.
100%, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that contribution. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like what you said about going through all the different levels, and you're totally right about that. I've been through the angry stages, through just, oh my God, how they doing this to us stage, to all that. And yeah, I'm at that stage, like you said, a tornado comes, you just kick your feet back up, and especially with the COVID stage, when some of my friends, even family members, passed away through that, and even I know people personally that took the shot and they passed away, and it just I'm numb. I'm numb to a lot of it now because I know going into the future, why, like you said, everything is a test. So we're gonna see so much stuff, and we just we got to be so well balanced and anchored because we're gonna have friends and family that could possibly pass away through stuff that they did, and I talked to somebody who's also in my community, but he's not on the line tonight. I feel that we're going into the stage of the strong will survive, the weak will perish. And it's not saying that everybody will die, but it's just mentally, spiritually, if you're not strong mentally, spiritually, physically, in some form or faction, you will decline and you will be left behind in a way. So I feel like we're going into the strong will survive and the weak will perish.
Well, absolutely. This is how I feel the elite, as you so call them, I do a lot of research into global resets, like the whole Archaics. If any of you follow him on YouTube, he looks at sort of world-changing events like literal resets, events, mud floods, tidal waves, all those kind of things. And I almost wonder that the elites just do all this, or a lot of this plays out because of their desire to survive. If there is something one day, and the Tomorrowland depicts it, it's wonderful. How this potential world-ending event can actually be reversed by the power of thought and belief. But I don't know. That's like a whole new quantum level mechanic kind of thing. But I think what it comes down to is these elites know that they need to survive, and they do it better than everyone else. And can you blame them if that is ultimately what it is? If there is some sort of event, that world-ending, Bible kind of event, can you really blame them for wanting to survive? It's a bit of a deep one, but
Not at all. I mean, I think that's this is human nature, right? It's our instinct, and yeah, with knowledge comes great power, and they've held on to it with such a tight grasp. I mean, it's like how many books of the original Bible have been destroyed, right? Or that live in the catacombs of the Vatican, right? Like, what kind of information was in the Library of Alexandria, right? What type of information, has even been completely lost? Like, what cycle are we really on? Do they even know? Like, will we ever find out? Like, I would love to say yes, but I'm gonna have to say probably not. And that's just the pragmatic part of my brain saying that. But it's like, what is our real history? And again, it's like, goes back to the whole finance thing. And it's like, if you can't understand what the problem is, or that there's even a problem, there will never be a solution for this. So we need to understand that, there are issues in the world, and now we're savvy to them, right? All the people in this space understand that the Federal Reserve was a created entity by a select group of people to carry out their power structure, right? And their dominance in this realm. And a lot of people don't even know that, right? The story of the Jekyll and Hyde Island, right? It's like, these things need to be spread throughout the new educational system when it does take place. And I mean, that's just one facet of it, but it's like there's layers upon layers of this. But yeah, I mean, can we blame them? Back to your original point, it's like, I don't think we can, because that's just the fight to survive and survival instincts. And now we're just blessed enough to have the brain power to perceive it and to understand that, yeah, we do have the power when it may seem like, yeah, you are powerless in the situation. You're just a small nobody, right? No, you are somebody. And if you really believe in quantum entanglement, I mean, we're all connected, and everything is connected. Every bit in this realm is connected to each other. And I hope we get to the bottom of it one day.
well, a tangled web that would be to get to the bottom of that. I suspect there might be many, many answers or questions we never get answered.
Maybe we need to start our own Ripple Vatican. We have our own answers.
Well, who knows? I mean, in 20 years from now, the amount of knowledge we might all have and wisdom might be quite incredible.
I just want to throw another little brain teaser out here for you guys. So I'm not like totally somebody who doesn't watch any movies. I do watch them. But here over the last few months, I was watching, what is the one, Blade Runner 2049. And it occurred to me when I was going through that movie, and I just had sort of this hit of, what if that's actually our past and it's not our future? And
Well,
then I, of course, went down way all, I was like, oh my God, what if all these movies are actually documentaries? What if this is actually telling us about our past? Right? Because somebody had mentioned something about
that's
how many resets. How do we even know what cycle we're in? Yeah. What about that? Yeah.
oh, no, that is deep. That's deep. Wow.
It is, Dave. I was listening. It blew me away I listen. This stuff just comes to me. I just get like a download, and then I'm like, oh, what? Yeah, So for me, just experience, because I've kind of carried. I've practiced this for a while now, and it just keeps, evolving. But it goes in your body, like when it hits my body. Okay, and then it comes back up to my brain, and then it goes over to my logic, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that could happen, right? And then it's sort of like this mix, where my both sides of my brain are connected, and they're talking to each other. Typically, it's real. It happens, it manifests, whatever it is, whatever thought I had. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe not this year, next year, maybe it's 5 years from now, but it's probably something. So anyway, just something else to contemplate.
The news is fake. Movies are real. I'm with you. I can believe it.
Facts.
I think it's insane. You could even throw the are we living the same life over and over and over again like a Groundhog Day? Is this simulacrum just repeating itself? And so that would prove your point, yes. But it's also our future. It's like mind bending.
It's hard to think about for sure, and you will go crazy if you really if you really think about it. But how to escape, right? It's like escape samsara. It's like what if, and back to my other comment earlier, it's like, what if this is all there is? What if this is it? There is no heaven, there is no hell. This is all in one. This is all there is, and we just have to keep doing it, right? Like it kind of hurts your brain to think about it like that.
Oh
But
yeah, heaven,
I
hell on
think
earth.
it's I think it's cool though, because it's like, we're now aware that that's even a possibility, right? So we just have to do all we can to help people and to help others, and this is the ultimate goal. I think this is truly the meaning of life, is just we need to just leave things a little better than we found them, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I love that. Just make your mark and leave it a little bit better than it was before. Yeah, perfect.
But it's like a treasure hunt too. So it's like, I would love to even, like, I've had this thought too, and it's like, what if I could like leave treasure for myself, for my next life, for myself to find or for others to find, right? Like treasure hunt. Like, I think that would be kind of a cool endeavor to take on after I don't have to worry about working for the man anymore.
You probably listen. Okay, you probably already did. So I'm going to share this too, without giving myself away. I don't want to give myself away, but I have lived that life. Okay, and 2020, like, what is that? Future proves that past. And so
Yes.
I look back at a lot of things that I've experienced where I was clueless or not in the state or like the knowledge base that I have today. And I look back and I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding. I was right there, and it was underneath my nose. And I'm like, so like the whole compartmentalization, and where, people are like, oh no, we would know. We would. And I'm like, no, you would not know. So I tend to think that we've already done that, because when you sort of correlate your life path and all those choices that you made, and you're like, well, and it brought you to, a certain level that, obviously is where you're at today, had you not, taken those twists and turns. I already think you did leave, what did you say, little treasures for yourself to, to sort of find, to be where you're at today. So I know I get chills, and it's called freaky. It's like, I can totally go into freaky awareness, but it makes sense to me that would, it makes sense. So not only is it like, yeah, we're over in freaky awareness, but we can actually, pull that back up into logic too. So anyway, what if it's that? I think it is. I do.
Yeah, Russian Doll, Netflix. You seen that? It totally depicts that. She gets on a train, and there's a lot of liquidity and the train at the station kind of bits and bobs in there as well. But she totally does that. She travels back in time and um, finds the gold and silver that she left for herself, or forward, one of the ways. It was exactly that. It's
Man, I
incredible.
gotta start watching Netflix, dude. Holy cow. What the heck?
Honestly,
I'm
everything on
slacking.
Netflix right now.
Yeah, I
So,
don't have Netflix, so no, I've not seen that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, these movies, what, they're probably documentaries. They're like telling us, right? Maybe, yeah.
And watch Travelers too. I don't know if anybody's seen Travelers, but oh, that's a really good one. It's
Travelers
like,
is good, but it's
huh?
the acting's a bit weak. You probably wouldn't
Yeah,
stick with it too well. But yeah, I know what you mean. But there's
yeah.
the stuff coming out right now. 1899 film about two ships in on a journey from Europe to America. That's all about time travel and some incredible, mind-blowing stuff. Russian Doll's amazing. There's so much stuff on Netflix and Amazon right now. Peripheral on Amazon, and I am a bit of a TV show junkie just because of all the messages, the hidden symbolism, and what they're trying to tell you. It's incredible.
The Peripheral, I am watching that, where she goes, that she's actually connected to the computer, like her mind. And I don't know if you guys what's his name, Billy Carson. There's a video that I watched of him. It just blew me away. I'm like, I mean, I knew this, I knew it, but I didn't know. But our DNA, it was some study, science, you're gonna have to go find this. It's so interesting, where they actually pulled DNA and downloaded, how many books or something, like actual text, to the DNA. I don't know how it was done, and I can't even say it out because it's too technical. But Billy Carson is the gentleman who, and this just randomly came up, and I can't remember where I was, on a YouTube or where, but I was like, it just blew me away. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll post it to my thing, my Twitter. But it was just blew me away. I'm like, what? Like the DNA, actual DNA. Some scientists, some guys actually downloaded or uploaded, whatever you want to call it, to books, text, information, to the DNA. Right? But I mean, mind blown. So,
Really? Wow.
right? I'll find this. I'll find it and let you guys
Yeah,
listen
dude.
to it.
That could maybe lead into like this religion that is kind of the craze right now, or this teaching with the, is it Raalism, where people say that aliens came and like made us into humans. Like, what if they uploaded some kind of code into our DNA? I mean, it's possible.
well, are the aliens already here with the old lizard references? But yeah, I wouldn't rule anything out right now. Is there that film called They Know? Is it They Know? Is it, I don't know, the 80s or 90s?
Yeah,
And
with
that's just,
Roddy Piper. Rest in
yeah,
peace.
that's it.
He passed away recently. But yeah, what a great video, right?
Yeah, well,
They
especially
live.
considering how long ago it was written, made. You just think, oh, really?
I have to watch
But
this.
just go back to the 97% of your DNA is not coded, meaning, okay, air quotes, we can insinuate that we don't know what it does. Like, what is, okay, 3% is what we know. 97% is, oh, it's just junk DNA. We don't know. Or does somebody know and we just, us, publicly, or the science community doesn't know, right? So, or whoever, right? So that kind of feeds into what Alice was saying, that I don't know if I prescribe to the alien. I think it's us. I think that it's genetically modified people. I mean, I could really go off on a tangent with that, but I don't think, I think we are the ones. I don't think there's anything higher than us. And that sounds a little egoic, doesn't it? But I think humans, but if you think about how repressed we've been, and there's just, I mean, everybody is hell bent, like elite or government or control matrix, so determined to make you insignificant as a person. And then I go back to the kundalini and then your biomechanics, and I'm like, once you have those experiences, it's a game over. Like, you're not going back, because I think it starts when you bring that energy, which is actually what the Tesla, the etheric, I mean, it's all energy is everywhere. And you start turning on, I believe it starts activating those strands of DNA that are, quote unquote, not activated, because there's not enough, the frequency's not high enough, or the energy, we don't have enough energy, right? So you think like electrical energy to light the light bulb, there's not enough. And when we get enough of it, then it's things start turning on. Flip the switch, things start turning on. So anyway, yeah, it all comes together. Everything just so correlates. It just all comes together.
Like you said, it's like the synchronicities start happening. You start like
Yeah.
finishing people's sentences that you're like really close with. You start jinxing people you're really close with, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and then you're like, something's happening, right? Like something's literally happening in my everyday world that is just, yeah, it's like indescribable feeling. And that connectivity is like how we should be operating and how we are meant to operate, I do believe. So it's like, uh, yeah, I'm with you.
It's
Okay,
all
so
happening.
here's another mind blow bit of information. So everything that I'm telling you guys is like factual. It's not like opinion. Like, I know it's firsthand knowledge. So there is such thing called frequency weapons. Those are real. Our military uses them. It's public knowledge. So, a lot of times, or like around the whole 5G, right? And everybody was going crazy with that. And, oh, that's, blah, blah, and I'm like, guys, you need to go do some research, because it's public knowledge. This is real. We use those weapons what was the war? I'm gonna try with Kuwait. Remember when that war? Anyway, these things they're not really published out through the media, but if you're kind of in those circles, then you know. So, okay, so we can insinuate or we can infer, right? If they have it at that level, can things be modified at different levels, at a higher level? So, say like the 5G. Remember that all went around, right? So again, feeding to the frequency, or how, like, if our DNA, and this is just my thought process, if our DNA needs more energy, like actual energy, and there's a frequency that is repressing it. So that's not only just our consciousness, but what if there are other things out there that are also hindering those, from us to just, flip to the next level, right? So anyway, that's another thing, just throwing it out there. Just another little tidbit of information.
There's actually there's a patent that I think came out in like the 50s, and it's basically describing a mind control weapon that is a broadcast standard from television sets. And man, I forget the exact patent number, but it's a patented technology that basically sets out a frequency from your television, and it's set to manipulate your mind and change your frequency.
Okay, I just
So
want to I want to say this too, because I don't
that's
want
real.
to instill, it is very real. I don't want to instill like fear, uncertainty, and doubt in folks. Here's what I can tell you factually. Our biomechanics are more powerful than this outside. So somebody had already said this, like the placebo, and oh, what if it's our mind? And what did the Kabbalion tell us? Everything is mental. So it's only in a state of unawareness where you don't know, or you don't think yourself high enough or knowledgeable or powerful enough that those things can actually work on you. And I know that sounds really sort of like
That
I
makes
don't
sense.
want to say really out there, but I mean, I've seen people. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I've seen people where there's no way that these people would heal themselves, and you're like mind blown. I've had my own experiences, and once you cross over, and you're not going back. There's no going back. And I think that there's something, I don't know what it is, something that doesn't want you to know this. It doesn't want you to know all this stuff or have these experiences. Because if we have, and there's few people who are actually practicing and operating in these levels of awareness. I mean, could you imagine 8 billion people on the planet? I mean, we're in an entirely different world. Once everybody, even remotely, I would say 20%, it's game over. Game over for sure. Right?
And would we ever get to that? I'm blessed to let you come in 2 secs. I had this warped reverse idea. The stones that just got knocked down and said it wanted the population to, I don't know, 500 million or something like that. I actually had this reverse idea that maybe that's as many awoken people as it wanted, rather than just people. Maybe a bit of a strange tangent, but it was kind of something that just hit me one day. I thought,
No, listen, have you read the book Power versus Force? These theories are already out there. I mean, the Vedas talk about it. They talk about, because the higher frequency is so much more powerful, it weighted different. So like the a Christ consciousness, like one Jesus at his consciousness, it could entrain millions upon millions because it's so much higher. So you're literally pulling up, and it's kind of like and not to say that this is right or if it's wrong or if it's real or whatever, but the whole concept with the gurus in Eastern Indian, where people will go pay to be in the presence of the guru, and supposedly that energy transmission and all that kind of stuff. That's where that comes from. But yeah, I mean, how many people does it take? Well, there's theories out there that say, it's 1%, 2%, 3%, 20%. I can't even, it's been such a long time since I read that book, but it's not that many, guys. It's not that many to actually be operating at that in that higher awareness. And naturally, when you're in that higher space, it's a love frequency, and I can feel that in the voices that I'm listening to. I can feel that you guys are definitely in that resonance. We're in that same zone, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do all this stuff that I'm saying, right? I mean, we could already be there. So anyway, so I just wanted to throw it because I don't want people to get scared. I don't want to scare people that think, oh, well, if I don't do this, or if I don't eat the right way, or if I don't, do all this, that, something. No, 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 no. It just be who you are, and it'll happen.
But it's
absolutely.
like
And
it's like
it
this
comes in.
though. It's like, you guys know about the 100th monkey effect in that study.
Yep, exactly that. Yes.
So when enough of us are switched on and awakened, it will automatically outflow and source everyone else, and they will know exactly what they need to do unconsciously, technically, in that sense. So I agree with it. I think that study's phenomenally impressive, and how they even came to that conclusion and had that theory. Like that's some mind-blowing shit right there. But yeah, like we're all helping, we're all just walking each other home for sure, and we're on the front lines right now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I feel there's a massive hive mind effect going as well. I found that with the decoding environment. When you want an answer and then suddenly somebody posts the exact thing you needed, and you're like, wow, it's incredible, incredible stuff. Blessed, come and speak.
So first of all, I just want to say so much love to each and every single person hearing my voice, interacting, working to whether it's etherically or in the physical to make this world a better place. So much love. I just want to tie in a few concepts that we've been talking about. Um, I'm going to describe an image. Think of like this junk DNA as like a line. So like if we're and then the other thing is like everything is vibration. So we talk about high and low vibration. If we're on that line and we have a low vibration, we're only hitting it. The oscillations are so wide that we're only hitting it like 2 or 3 or 4 times within a beat. You know what I'm saying? But if we're switching on to that higher vibration, the higher state of consciousness, that faster oscillation of the wave, we're hitting that line, that junk DNA, whatever you want to call it, reality, more times in the same span. So we have more access to whatever that is, you know. And then the other thing is like Yogini was saying things, and she's right to say that yes, there is like a fear component, but at the same time, like with these technologies, I got really into Nikola Tesla. And one of the reasons I believe his tech was suppressed is because it works on the Schumann resonance, or the resonance of the Earth. So with that, you can obviously manipulate people's minds. That's the resonance that everything works on, our minds, everything in nature. But at the same like time and space, you can also use that to harvest energy. You know, so these technologies, while they can be used for malevolence, they can also be used for benevolence. And I truly believe that it really takes the next evolution of consciousness for us to be able to use these technologies in a way that's going to benefit all of us. You know, we can take, for example, the nuclear bomb. You know, like we killed a bunch of people with nuclear power, but also we helped a bunch of people with creating nuclear power. It's just how you use what you're given, and the knowledge that you have, and then the ethics and morals that come behind it, you know. And then the other thing, like lastly, uh, this is like something I've been kind of like toying with recently too. What is good, what is bad, you know what I'm saying? Like they're just two sides of the same coin. Like it just takes sometimes a wider perspective for you to be able to understand the reasons behind things. So obviously sometimes things look bad, things look good. And maybe from our limited perspective, that's like what it looks like. But at the same time, once we take like a wider view of things, maybe the perspective shifts. So I just implore everybody to take a wider view of things. Also, good shows, The OA and Sense8 on Netflix.
And yeah, speaking about taking a wider view, I'm glad you said that because it's like it's crazy because you know how running into you guys like it's hard to I don't want to say it's hard to be yourself, but it's hard to meet people that is on the same frequency as you. Very difficult because this is my I ran into a room where we were all pretty much on the same frequency. But anyway, but yeah, going back to what you were saying about the Georgia Guidestones, I was thinking the same thing. Like, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was talking to my friend about it. I was like, but I'm glad that what you said because it kind of made me look at it differently. And I didn't want to go down like just all doom and gloom, but I was thinking like, okay, they knocked, some people's like, oh yeah, they knocked the Georgia Guidestones down, and a lot of my friends were talking about, yeah, we're winning and stuff. And I was like, I don't know about that, but I was thinking, they did that because okay, they gave everybody the shot, but and then I said we did our job. Now we can knock it down because we did what we were supposed to do, and we're gonna get our numbers down. But the way you just opened my mind and said maybe it's the 500, well, I guess million people are the ones that are going to be awakened, and the other one's going to be like, you know, the other side of it. They're not going to get it. So the other people, the other billions of people are going to be, I want to say not robots, but you know what I mean. They're not going to understand, and we're the ones that are going to get it. So I'm glad you opened up my mind by just saying it that way because I was going down this other rabbit hole. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, that was just my 2 cents.
Hey guys, I got a question. I've looked in the whole ascension stuff a little bit over last year, and I see a lot of it pointing towards the pineal gland and red stuff. Like, I mean, I know that the internet's full of shit, and you got to use a filter, and probably 70, 89% of it's junk, but you have to discern what's right and what's wrong. But anyways, basically, like the cabal, the elite, call them whatever you want, Illuminati, they've taken over farms and food companies and all that, and they've introduced things in our diets that basically crystallize the pineal gland so that we can't tap into it and vibe up into these higher frequencies, higher energies. I'm new to this group. I don't know anybody. Just if somebody can maybe speak on that, see what their thoughts are about that.
I can
Uh,
I can
if
speak to that. I mean, for firsthand experience as far as that goes. So I just want to go back to the Wim Hof. So any kind of breathing, any kind of yogic breathing methods or bandhas, it's physical to pull that the air, the spirit breath. It's very, if you think about oxygen and how disinfectant that is. I wouldn't get into the fear modes of where your penal is crystallized and you're screwed and all this stuff. We're more powerful than that. I mean, I don't care if you, I mean, Wim Hof eats poison and he is able to get it out of his system with his breath. So he's not special. You can do that too. So I would just encourage to start looking into sort of the Kundalini meditation, and there's a ton of YouTube videos that'll give you like a practice. It's like if it's a physical practice that's going to start moving that energy in your body, and it's going to just happen for you, and it's going to be very organic, and you're going to know. It's like anything that we do in 3D. Like, we've got to go to the gym and lift weights. I mean, you have to put some effort into it, but once you sort of cross over certain levels of initiation, if we want to use that word, then you're like, oh, and then you start seeing the benefit of it, and you're like, oh, okay, this is this is really helping me. This is really beneficial. So I would just encourage that, and it works. I mean, it's going to blow you away. You're going to be, but you have to keep at it, just like changing your diet, or again going to the gym, or going to the walking, just everything, right? We have to sort of get past, push ourselves past sort of that resistance in our physical, but then once we sort of get habituated, and it's a habit, then it just all starts flowing. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense
it
to you.
does, but I don't. You mentioned a couple things, or I don't. Are these books, or
Oh, you go
can
to YouTube. Just do a search on YouTube, Kundalini meditation. I mean,
you?
seriously, it is this simple. I mean, and things will pop up, and then whatever resonates for you, and they'll show you how to do it. Wim Hof, I think he has a lot of videos too. He's got a certain, methodology but it's very similar. These are all very similar practices that are going to, pull that breath in, oxygen in, more oxygen in. Even if you're doing pranayama, right? The just breath in and out, or that, huff. Anyway, there's so much out there. So any kind of
Yeah.
books, yeah. I mean, there's so much. I mean, there's so much. So
And I
yeah,
would also say to that, and that's excellent, Yogini. But intention. When I woke up, I was 41. So I've got 41 years of all the crap in my body. So, but it didn't stop me. I always felt like I was a little bit psychic, and it's been getting stronger ever since. The things that happen to me, the thought waves, the downloads, the intuition, it's all there. It's just got to be activated, and I think perhaps this whole calcified pineal gland thing, maybe a bit of FUD, like a FUD element to it.
yeah,
It still works. It's a
yeah.
yeah. So literally, it's about intention and mindset over anything else. I haven't done Kundalini yet, but I'm absolutely going to. But yeah, mindset.
But you're doing the Wim Hof though, which is it's very similar. So
Oh, but not loads, only a little bit.
it does.
I've done it, cold showers, all that kind of thing. But I feel like mindset ruled that roost more, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, no, your intentions and your mindset, it's like, who said the observer being observed? Listen, we are so powerful. Our minds are so powerful. And if you can build the confidence in yourself that, like, that your intuition or what comes to you is solid and you can follow that, I honestly think you probably wouldn't even have to. But just, as a beginner, right? Like you're, starting a diet regime or a workout regime, right? What kind of advice would you give that person? Well, how about, let's walking 30 minutes a day, that kind of thing, right? So just start off slow and then, listen to yourself, right? And have the intention there. And if somebody was talking about, what you say to yourself, it really is they call it a confidence game. Well, you just do that with yourself. Just be confident. And
We manifest what we think or what we say.
yeah,
Both. Yeah.
yeah.
Is this Wim Hof, like these breathing techniques you're talking about, related to oxygen, healing, things like that? Are these methods that you see these people that, like these divers that, all they're doing is wearing swimming shorts and they can dive down and hold their breath for an hour in freezing cold water, and people are wondering how they're able to do
Dude,
that?
that dude
Yeah.
climbs mountains in his underwear, dude. It's insane. And he has people that are his students that do the same exact thing. He has his students do the exact same thing.
Is it
It's mind-blowing, dude.
is it any relation to
I
this Wim Hof and
there's so,
Kundalini stuff?
there's so many. It's almost like we have so much information. We live in an age of information that ignorance is a choice. Who says that? Dr. Joe Dispenza. So honestly, any path you go down, Kundalini meditation, Wim Hof, or the yogis, they what are they die. What am I trying to think? Is it samadhi? Anyway, they die. They choose when they die. They shut their bodies down. So it's wherever you want to start, and your intention and intuitiveness will take you. But there's a ton of information just on YouTube. I mean, it's free. You just go digging, go down the rabbit hole, and see what comes up for you.
I'm just posting a Wim Hof video in the Spaces chat for you, just so you know who he is. That's so yeah. Just like, even just start there. It's amazing.
Dude, okay, so quick tidbit. They literally injected him with like E. coli or something, like in a lab, and like they watched his blood, like him just do his methods, and they watched him like fight off these these E. coli bacteria. I mean, it's it's really he defies all of what Western medicine says is not possible. I mean, he goes against the grain. He's a truly amazing human.
Yeah, but then he went a step further and did it with a group of his own followers, didn't he?
Oh yeah, dude, that's what I mean. Like he teaches people these techniques, and then they basically go. And I remember even watching it one of the first times when I found the Wim Hof, and he was leading his team or his students up a mountain, and they're all wearing boxers. And I mean, he shows the thermometer, and it's like 22 degrees outside, like freezing cold. Not just 32 degrees, not just 40 degrees. No, it's like sub-zero, sub-zero. And they all climb to the mountain and are just like living the dream, like happy, like it's all mindset, and it's truly amazing.
I saw the. I just want to throw in Dr. Joseph Dispenza. If anybody's interested, he's very scientific. He goes into like the biomechanics of how your brain operates. He's very heady. It's very science based. A lot of people say it's pseudoscience, but if you listen to him or read his books, he explains a lot of this in really detail, but it might be a little bit more heady for some folks who just want to sort of jump in there and you go to a video and watch somebody show you how to do kundalini bandhas and breath and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I just want to throw that in there as well. Dr. Joe.
Yeah, I've just stuck his link in chat as well for anybody looking.
Hey guys, I gotta sign off. I'm losing battery.
I'll tell you what, me too. It's 1:30 in the morning for me. I've got to get up in the morning for the kiddywinks. So it's 4 hours long. This was awesome. It was incredible. Sorry for anybody that didn't get to speak. I think you all did. But I haven't done many spaces. I did one last night. If you want to check that one out, that's more Riddler based, sticking on 1.5 speed because it was a little bit slow going. But this has been epic, and I will do it again, and I will do it again soon. So every sort of 1 to 2 weeks, I'll make sure we sort of repeat this kind of thing and get this vibe going and learn as much as we can, because this spiritual journey is just as important as the financial journey. So yeah, much love to you all. Thank you so much for your contributions. You've been amazing.
Good stuff, guys. I had a good time. And if anyone has any questions about anything, my DMs are open. So reach
Same
out.
here. Same here with Yogini as well. Thank you so much. Good night, guys.
Yeah, same from me, Wabbit. Contact me if you need anything. Thanks, guys. Love you all. Thank you.